It's the Orioles on Bassett, and it's a day game on this Sunday here at Camden Yards. On a beautiful summer afternoon, the Orioles are trying to sweep the St. Louis Cardinals and move to within a game of 20 over 500. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome to the Orioles. It has been an amazing homecoming. 2 ball games in which the bats, every single one of them, absolutely alive for the Orioles. Can they do it again today? Won't be easy. Lance Lynn, outstanding pitcher for the Cardinals, will try and shut him down, but the Cardinals have the other problem of trying to score some runs themselves. They have not been doing that since the All-Star break. Fewest runs per game in Major League Baseball since the break. For the Orioles, it's just help from everywhere, including the positions where they had some questions. Take a look at what the Orioles have done in so-called platoon situations. In left field, the Orioles have used Cruz, Lowe, Pierce, and Young. Their output, 6th best average. They have 21 homers, second for left fielders. RBIs tied for 6. That's outstanding. Then you go to second base. Largely it has been Scope and Flaherty. Lombardozzi a bit at the beginning. Average down, but the home runs up and the RBIs 14th. And for the catcher, without the All-Star Matt Wieters, who has played in only 22 games, Joseph Hundley Clevenger, they're 7th in average, tied for 3rd in home runs, and the 3rd most RBIs for a catching outfit. Mike Bordick, that's pretty amazing for 3 positions where you're using a number of people.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, before the trade deadline, there was a lot of talk about the Orioles possibly finding ways to improve in those positions. And you look up, I mean, that home run production is incredible from left field, second base, and the catching spot. There were a lot of question marks about second base and catcher, obviously, because losing Matt Wieters and Ryan Flaherty and Jonathan Scope really weren't hitting for average. But their home run production has been there, and they've been playing at Gold Glove caliber second base. So no question marks there. I mean, keep hitting the long ball and playing consistent defense, and second base is locked in. Well, catching position, Caleb Joseph is proving that all the hard work he did in the minor leagues is paying off. I mean, he's playing unbelievable defense behind the plate, throwing base runners out at a 50% rate, and hitting the long ball as well. He's on this home run tear, amazing 5 games in a row. But his bat has come along, and he and Nick Hundley are really starting to not only defensively handle this pitching staff, blocking balls, throwing runners out, but contributing immensely with their bat.
And of course, the biggest surprise of all perhaps has been the fact that since the start of July, the Orioles starting pitching has been really second to none as far as their output's concerned. You combine that with the Oriole bats, and the complete team that the Orioles had hoped for has come together in the month of August.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have seen it here the last 2 days, pitching, defense, and the bats. They're hitting the long ball. Of course, the Orioles have been known for the long ball over the past 3 years. Well, it's all starting to come together, and this team is probably the most dominant team in the game when all 3 things are working at once, and they have been, and this team has been on a tear. I mean, really a strong-looking overall team.
And boy, have they ignited the city of Baltimore. Everywhere you go, it's about the orange, and today the Orioles will try and sweep the Cardinals, something they have never done in their history. We'll see if they can get it done when we come back. find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stores. Navy Federal Credit Union. Well, let's take a look at our train game time temperature. Sunny skies and a very comfortable 82 degrees as we start our ball game on this Sunday afternoon. Visit trainsearch.com to find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Here's the starting lineup for the Cardinals today. It'll be Carpenter, Wong, and Holiday, Adams, Peralta, and Jay, Tavares, Cruz, and Descalso. Johnny Peralta against the Orioles. A lot of at-bats when he was with the Tigers, so he's got a pretty hefty average.
And let's take a look at Kevin Gausman's pitch arsenal this season. Using that fastball at 70%. Why not? It is a dominant fastball. He can run it up there in the high 90s when he wants. Breaking ball 7% of the time. Changeup. He's got the circle change and the nasty split finger change. Starts 11 this season. 6 wins on the year for Gausman. 3.77 earned run average. 40 strikeouts. 23 walks in his 62 innings of work. Opponents hitting .268 overall. He has given up 3 home runs. Lefties .274, righties at a .260 clip. And Kevin Gausman has been pitching very well recently. 3 quality starts in a row. 2-0 record with a 3.20 earned run average. And I'll tell you the most impressive thing, Kevin Gausman's last start, 6 innings. He ended up getting the win against the Nationals. A couple walks, 3 strikeouts in that game. But he didn't have his best stuff. He had to find a way to compete and win a ball game. And sure enough, he did. He dug deep. The young pitcher showed what he's made of. You know, that's really the test, I think, for all pitchers. You're not going to have your best stuff every night you go out there, but you have to find a way to compete. Well, Gausman showed his heart and came away with a strong win. I think he learned a lot from that performance, and I know Buck Showalter was very impressed after that outing.
The Orioles are going to be without J.J. Hardy at short today. It is a sprained left thumb occurring just before the start of the game. The Orioles announced a change in the lineup. So Hardy is out of there. Flaherty, who was going to play second, instead will play short. And Jonathan Scope, who wasn't in the lineup, will be at second base. So J.J. Hardy out, a sprained left thumb. And we are ready to go as the Orioles go after the sweep. Carpenter's the designated hitter in the ball game today, and Gausman's delivery to him is in there for a strike. The Orioles have put on the show here in the last 2 ball games. The amazing run, a 10-3 victory in the ball game last night, opening up with a 12-2 win. 2 best offensive back-to-back games they've had this year. Carpenter fouls it back. They have held the Cardinal lineup to virtually nothing. Gausman will try and continue to do that here today.
Well, they have really shut them down, and Mike Matheny, he's looking for some offensive help. And they've struggled all season long at scoring runs, and here the Orioles pitching staff has been pitching well, and the Cardinals bats have continued to stay quiet.
And another hitter where the Orioles shift after the count goes to 2 strikes. Talking about that this morning on how often the Orioles are doing that now. And it's not just a shift that's employed when the hitter stands in. It changes based on the count. The 1-2 delivery on the way. Carpenter will take that down low for the ball. Oriole fans taking a look at the youngster, 23 years old. Many believe this is the future ace of the staff. The question is, when is the future? Is it September? Is it October of this year? Is it next year? A lot of that will depend on how he performs here in the final starts he gets in this season, and that will have a large impact on exactly how Dave Wallace, pitching coach, and Buck Showalter put this staff ultimately together for the final month of the year and hopefully for the Orioles for postseason. 3-2 delivery to Carpenter, and he'll foul it off.
Well, the Orioles, I think they feel fortunate that they're having these tough problems right now with so many pitchers doing well. And, you know, they had to send Miguel Gonzalez down to make a start in the minor leagues, but just too many guys doing such a good job, and they've been wanting this kind of depth for years. Well, here it is upon them. So tough, good problems to have.
That'll be a base hit into right field. Nick Markakis will chase it down. And Carpenter leads the ball game off with a single. Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, I talked with him this morning about Kevin Gausman.
he's a special guy in a lot of ways. I mean, he's the one guy that comes to us during the ball game, even when he's not pitching, and notices hitters making adjustments at the plate. He's in the film room looking at video, and he's taking notes, even the days he doesn't pitch. Now, today he's pitching, he'll be in taking notes, and yet he understands what he does well on that day. So he's going to be a special guy.
Runner on at first base. Here is Wong, and the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Colton Wong working in the number 2 spot, a 1 for 9 so far in the series. Little breeze blowing out to right field at the start of the ball game today. Could be enough to give a ball a little lift. Beautiful afternoon, though. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Came inside that time. Gausman misses with it, and it's 2-0.
Kevin Gausman, when he's on, obviously that great ability to work the inside and outside edges, just missing a couple times right there. But what we've seen consistently here this season from Gausman, as we take a look at the Nissan pitch track, missing inside and outside with the first 2 pitches, is his ability to stay down in the zone. And this is an adjustment he has made this season. When he first came up to the big leagues, I think he had it in his mind that he could get that big fastball by hitters, so made some mistakes up in the zone, and they kind of taught him a little bit of a lesson. Well, Dave Wallace talked about how intelligent he is, so we made those adjustments, and here he is having a lot more success with that fastball, working it down.
Wong with a 2-ball 1-strike count. Carpenter at first base, held by Davis. Gausman's delivery to him, and over the top on that one, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. That one fell off.
It sure did. I mean, he has a devastating changeup. Take a look at the Nissan pitch track. That ball actually looked like it moved 2 different directions on the way to the plate. It's the Vulcan grip, more the split finger. Gets him way out in front. Now he's seen the 3 fastballs, so he knows he's got to gear up a little bit for it. Take some pace off, and that kind of late action, you're going to have a lot of success.
2-2. Runner not going. Wong will take it outside, and so the count again is full. 3-ball 2-strike count. For Gausman, this is going to be his first outing against the Cardinals here at Camden Yards. He's 4-2, a 4.24 ERA this year in his career. Last year, this year, his record here at home is 6-3 with an ERA of just over 4. 3-2 count. See if they run Carpenter. They do not. Ball hit to the hole. Base hit. That was interesting. Carpenter deked as though he was going to run, and Flaherty responded to it by taking 2 steps towards second base. Not that he would have gotten that ground ball, but it opened that hole up.
Well, there's the little hop. Flaherty takes a couple steps. Yeah, it would have been a tough play. You don't even know if he would have been able to field this ground ball. Wong hits it pretty hard through that hole. Anytime you can get the defense thinking and make them move a little bit, just opens up extra opportunities for the hits. Wong able to pick one up.
Little things in baseball that matter. Carpenter with a deke at first. Here's Matt Holliday. Holliday a couple of hits and 7 at bats, 2 on and nobody out. And Gausman will catch the outside corner with it. For the Cardinals in this series, they've gone 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position, leaving 13 on base in the 2 games played so far. Holliday they count on to be one of their RBI producers with that .333 average with runners in scoring position. And Gausman will miss inside. 1 ball 1 strike on Holliday. Kevin Gausman having a extended start. He's thrown 15 pitches already here and has not recorded an out. Mike Matheny talking with him this morning about his Cardinal hitters. He said you come into a ballpark that most of them never played in. You think it's a bandbox. You want to hit home runs, and as a hitter that's the last thing you want to be thinking. He said we need to do what we do. We're a doubles team. We're a team that manufactures runs. We've got some guys who are swinging a little too hard, trying to do something here. Mike said, I've tried to impress on them for today. Just relax. Just do what you do and let the game play out. 2-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to be a base hit up the middle. Bad jump by Carpenter. He'll have to stop at third base, and they've loaded him up with nobody out here in the first inning.
Yeah, the Orioles offense, listening to manager Mike Matheny, some good at bats here. Of course, Kevin Gausman falling behind a little bit. Not to come to the hitters, but they're taking advantage of that. 3 straight singles.
So they've got their big power hitter up, cleanup batter. Matt Adams out to the mound for a discussion. Goes Caleb Joseph to talk with Kevin Gausman. Since it is the first inning, the Orioles infield's going to play, of course, for 2 here. They'll allow a run to cross if they can get the double play and prevent an even larger inning.
The Orioles pitchers have really shut down this whole offense up until the first 3 batters. But Adams, came in swinging the bat very well, but only 1 hit in the series so far. He's got a big opportunity right now. Start of this ball game.
1 for 7 in the series. Bases loaded. Adams goes after the high heater. So Adams anxious on that one. He's gone 1 for 5 with the bases loaded this year. That was a single. Career has never had a grand slam home run. 1 strikeout, nobody out. Infield double play depth, and the outfield straight away and fairly deep. And Adams, a broken back ground ball, a gun underneath the glove of Gausman. There's 1. The relay, there'll be none. So a run will score. Chance for a double play, and Gausman kicked at the dirt because he really wanted to feel that and get 2.
Yeah, a little frustrated right there. I mean, coming off the bat, I think all pitchers get a little flinch. So he flinches up and gets the glove down a little bit too late. And in hindsight, wishing he would have just made a better reaction, because he certainly would have been able to help himself a possible double play right there. But a good fastball to get in. You see the bat just shattering, and Gausman's glove goes up, and then he has to make the adjustment. By that time, ball under the glove, and the only thing Jonathan Schoop could do is take that out at second base.
So the RBI will go to Adams. He gets his 50th run batted in of the season. Cardinals get a 1-0 lead. Wong goes over to third. Adams at first. Here's Peralta. Goes after the first one. Peralta, a couple of hits, 6 at bats. He's had an RBI in this series. Now at 255 on the year. Peralta has been their leader when it comes to the long ball. He ranks 10th in the National League in doubles and leads the Cardinals in extra base hits. He's got 44 extra base hits on the season. First and third, 1 out. And fooled him on that one. A great pitch. 0-2.
Yeah, another good changeup. He's had a couple of them here in this inning. And Peralta, very dangerous hitter. You talked about his home runs, extra base hits, but that's how you pitch him. Down in the zone, take a little pace off it. Good change there to get ahead.
Peralta just a $198 with runners in scoring position. A very surprising number for such a good contact hitter. Here's the 0-2 delivery, set up outside, went there, and it will be fouled away. By the way, Miguel Gonzalez, of course, who had to come off the roster yesterday, did work out here in the bullpen. The Orioles got special permission from Major League Baseball to keep Miguel here, so he worked out in the bullpen before the game and is probably going to pitch here in 2 days for AAA Norfolk. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that one's going to be foul back. They planned on Miguel Gonzalez probably throwing only 5 innings, according to Buck Showalter and Dave Wallace, and it was at Dave's request, and it might even be less than that. They want to keep Miguel Gonzalez available for use at the major league level and not send him down and have him throw 8 innings and 100 pitches so that he's now unavailable for 3 or 4 days. That's the plan. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and that'll be down low.
A good block right there. Yeah, they're definitely thinking about that situation, and I'm sure they're looking down the road at the matchups, which Buck does so well, putting guys in favorable positions, and want to keep Miguel fresh just in case that day comes up.
1-2 the count, first and third. Cardinals a run in first inning. They had a run in the first inning in last night's ball game. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way. A check in the dirt, and it'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Peralta.
Well, got him earlier in the count on that changeup. Peralta here, when he fell behind, he's really stayed back. He's fought off some good fastballs. He's been late on them, but he's been able to keep the at bat alive. Just the fact that he's staying back so well with the 2 strikes, that's why he didn't offer on that Good change up there.
2-2. Peralta inside out. Davis coming over. And that ball's going to be out of play.
Well, let's take a look at the Orioles defense behind Kevin Gausman. Of course, brought to you by Chevrolet this afternoon. Young, Jones, and Markakis in the outfield. Flaherty slides into the shortstop position. J.J. Hardy, a thumb problem right now. And, of course, Ryan, no stranger to shortstop. Why he has so much value. Scope at second. Machado and Davis on the corners. Caleb Joseph behind the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Kevin Gausman looking for the ground ball here to get a double play. Runners off first and third. Peralta lines it in the air. It's not deep. It's not going to be caught. Jones looking to the plate. Throw way off the mark. Over to get it is Joseph, and a run will score. And is Adam all right? Dirt came out from under when he tried to throw. You see he's replacing the divot. And it looks like he's okay. So a run in, 2-0. Base hit by Peralta for the RBI.
Dave Wallace coming on out. Calm Kevin Gausman down. Nice deke right there by Adam Jones. Gets Wong all the way back to third base. Rushes a little bit on the throw. Wong great speed. And ends up sailing off the line. Now take a look. It's a jam shot. Adam Jones with the read. Oh, he's deking him a little bit. And yeah, he got Wong back. There you see the throw just ride up the line a little bit. Nice job by Joseph coming off to keep Holiday at second.
So a 2-0 lead. 2 runs on 4 hits in the first inning and 27 pitches thrown by Kevin Gausman to record just 1 out. That's going to bring up John Jay. Jay, who picked up a home run in this series. He's 1 for 5 with a homer and 2 RBIs. He's only got 2 long balls on the season. And that home run he got in the series was his first one since the 14th of April. And the pitch to him is taken outside for a ball. Well, here we be on this Sunday, and the Orioles in first place, 6 games ahead of both the Yankees and Toronto, who are now tied for second. Detroit's got a 1.5 game lead over a red-hot Kansas City team that's won 6 in a row. 1-0 delivery, swung on and missed. Oakland still leading the Angels now by 4. Oakland's won 3 in a row. The Nationals have extended their lead over Braves, 4.5. Milwaukee in the Centrals in a real race. Pittsburgh now 2.5 games out. These Cardinals have dropped to third. They are 3 games behind. And the Dodgers lead the Giants by 3.5. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
A real good fastball right there here in the early going. And Kevin Gausman hasn't been really raked around the park. A couple broken bats here and there. A single that found its way through. But really relying heavily on the fastball right now. One of the problems, and I think Kevin Gausman has certainly won a couple ball games this season with just the fastball changeup combination. But if he can add that breaking ball in there, and we saw the percentage times that he uses it, not very much, about 7%. If he can get that in there and get that in the heads of hitters, I mean, it's just another big weapon that he can use to potentially get ahead of hitters and just have it in the back of their minds when they get to 2 strikes.
And another 3-2 count. So the Cardinals being very patient, as they are prone to do. The walks and the on-base percentage, part of what creates the runs for them. 3-2, 1 away. Jay with Tavares waiting on deck. Jay's got good speed, so doubling him up is not easy. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Runners go, and he walked him. And the tough first inning continues for Kevin Gausman. They are loaded again. And that will bring Tavares to the plate.
And Kevin finding himself getting behind hitters.
That's the third 3-2 count that he has had here in the first inning, and you saw Buck Showalter already on the phone. And the bullpen will start to move around. They're going to start warm-up action here in the first inning. McFarland, the Orioles long man out of the pen recently, is up. Tavares has not had a hit in the series. He has gone 0 for 7. Bases loaded, 1 away, 2 runs in. And the pitch will be inside for a ball.
find that command.
Right now, just not there.
Yeah.
Tavares a big chance here. 1 for 5, bases loaded this year, a double. 1-0 delivery to him. Tavares will loop that one the other way, foul. And the count goes to 1-1. This season for Kevin Gausman, the first inning, he's given up 3 runs total in the first inning in his starts. This is his 12th start of the year. The Cardinals have been able already to put 2 up against him. Gausman ready with a 1-1 delivery, and that's going to be inside, and it's just not there. 2-1.
Yeah, really having a hard time getting that fastball on the inside corner to the lefty right now, pulling a little bit, trying to make the in-game adjustment. And at times we've seen him fly open a little bit too quick, losing at arm side when he tries to work away. So he's trying to find that early rhythm in this ball game, get back into the zone.
Ground ball double play could keep him in the ball game. Tavares will loop that one in the air. Jones is going to come hard, makes the catch. Runner's going to tag. Here's the throw to the plate. They've got a play, and there's the double play they needed. Adam Jones on the money, and Matt Adams is thrown out. No question about that one. Cardinals will get 2, but it could have been a lot worse. That'll keep the sun off. 2-0 Cardinals get the lead with a big play by the Orioles. Here's their starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find their fares online only at southwest.com. Markakis, Machado, and Jones, Cruz, Davis, and Young, Joseph, Flaherty, and Scope. Nelson with the big 364 lifetime against the Cardinals.
Now let's take a look at Lance Lynn's pitch arsenal this season. He loves the fastball. Pretty good 2-seamer, and he can ride that 4-seamer up there in the mid-90s. Uses it 79% of the time. Breaking ball at 18%. It's a slider curveball combination, and the change just 3% of the time. Take a look at his numbers on the year. 11 wins, a 2.89 earned run average. 127 strikeouts in his 140 innings of work. Opponents hitting just 237. 7 home runs on the season. 6 of those home runs coming on the road.
And Nick Markakis will lead it off for the Orioles. Nick has a 3-game hit streak coming in with a 2 for 7 that he's had in these 2 games. Manny Machado, then Jones for the Orioles, down 2-0. What a big play that was, though, to get the double up at the plate. And a 2-0 count. Now here again, and Jim Palmer talks about this all the time, you got a starting pitcher for the Cardinals who's been sitting over there for about 25 minutes since the last time he threw.
All right.
And as Jim likes to point out, why don't you stay in the bullpen as a starter just in case, so that 20 minutes goes by, you get up. 15 minutes goes by, you get up. You throw a little, not hard, but loosen up a little instead of sitting in the dugout all that time. Because it's like now you got to go out and warm up all over again. Yeah. But there aren't many pitchers who, if any, who do that anymore. 2-1 delivery, and he jammed him, and that'll be fouled back, and the count goes to 2-2.
Well, baseball players are creatures of habit. It might be one of those things. Okay, got to get in the dugout, get my drink of Gatorade, put the towel around my neck, talk to the pitching coach, go over the scouting report one more time. But yeah, definitely hurt by that long inning. Yeah, there you go. Make another adjustment.
I don't know, Jim. It just seems to make so much sense. That'll be a ground ball. It's going to have to be cut off. Third base. Trouble. Throw it away. Probably a base hit anyway. Descalso had to play that. Peralta short was not going to have a chance.
Yeah, it was really just a one-time play for an infielder. You see Descalso come in, and there's a little juggle on the transfer. That allows Markakis to get in there and throw sailing high. Markakis continues his great interleague success, picking up another hit.
We're going to have to redo the numbers we showed you for a long time leading off a ball game, what his average was. I don't have that right in front of me anymore, but it's got to be back up there again because it seems like over the last week he's been on base in the first inning every game. Here's Manny Machado. It is a single, by the way, for Nick Markakis. And Machado will take the pitch for a strike on the outside corner. Great series against the Cardinals for Machado. With the 5 hits he has put up, 9 at bats, he's had a home run, 4 RBIs. Now the Cardinal defense will play for 2. And jammed him. Just had to kind of wind the bat around that time.
We'll take a look at the American League players. Most games with 3 or more hits since July 7th. Adam Eaton leading the way, but there's Manny Machado picking up his hits in bunches. He's had 5 games with 3 or more hits. In yesterday's ball game, of course, had a 3-hit game against the Cardinals. And take a look at the numbers there. Last 13 games, 328. Couple home runs, 9 RBIs from Machado.
That's going to go to third in the hole. That's a base hit. So a seeing eye single for Manny Machado. He gets his 6th hit of this series. And the Orioles come right back with runners on at first and second and nobody out.
Well, both hits not terribly hard. A good 2-seamer riding in. Once again, watching a baseball find its way through that 5-6 hole. Manny Machado getting the hands to it, just enough of the bat head. And there's a look at Lance Lynn. A couple frustrating hits to start the ball game for him.
So the Orioles bouncing back here in the first inning. By the way, for Nick Markakis, leading off a ball game, he's hitting .340 now. .340 in his first at bat. He's got 12 infield hits, with the 12th coming to lead off this game. Here's Adam Jones. He will take the slider outside for a ball. Adam with a .295 runner in scoring position number. Just a little bit better than the overall .285 average that he has put up on the season. He too has had a big series. 4 for 8, a home run, RBI. Ball fouled off down the right side off Lynn. So both of these pitchers are really having to work in the first inning. Whether any runs are scored here or not, Lynn's had to come out and battle.
Yeah, well, Kevin Gausman certainly aided by that big double play. Adam Jones making the strong throw home, cutting down a potential run. But here, Lance Lynn really hasn't seen himself in this kind of trouble early in a ball game. He has been dealing here recently. I mean, all through July and then into August.
That's a broken back ground ball. Another squibber. There's one. No relay. So Jones will reach on the fielder's choice. Markakis goes to third. Machado out on the 5-4.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals defense this afternoon. Holiday, Jay, Tavares in the outfield. Peralta and Wong up the middle. Descalso over at third. Adams at first base, and Cruz getting the start behind the plate.
Well, the Orioles with a chance to get a run in here and respond to the Cardinals' 2-run first inning. Cruz with a 30 home runs, 79 RBIs, getting number 30 on the season in the 3rd inning of last night's ball game. He comes in with a 3-game hit streak, 3 for 9 in the series with a homer and 2 RBIs. Lynn's delivery, and that'll be taken for a ball.
And Nelson Cruz starting to heat up, but 30 home runs, second most in Major League Baseball. His bat went a little quiet. Well, he's turned it on again here in this series. Big home run, big number there, second time in his career, up to 30 home runs.
He's 246 with runners in scoring position, and Lynn's going to miss. And the count goes to 2-0. Orioles first and third. Markakis the lead runner. Jones over there at first base. Lynn base stealers against him. 0 for 2. They haven't run very much. Cruz behind the plate's thrown out just 3 of 19. That ball whipped into the corner, and Jones has got a base hit. That'll bring Markakis in. Being waved around. Cruz gets the hit, and back to third base goes Jones. So Cruz puts the Orioles on the board with a double into the corner. Adam Jones was thinking about scoring as he made the big turn at third and then went back.
Well, that's the way you run the bases. But this is how you get to a baseball on the inside corner. Boy, that two-seamer was running in off the plate, right down the left field line. And Adam Jones always hustling on the base pass. He's thinking score all the way. Bobby Dickerson says, no, not yet. Get back there. Nice job putting the brakes on and getting back. That ball was coming in. Good relay. Potentially would have had him. Bobby Dickerson realizing the pressure is on right now. Keep this rally going.
That's 80 runs batted in for Nelson Cruz, and the Orioles make it a 2-1 ball game. Now here is Chris Davis. His hit in the series, the home run, 1 for 9. Runners at second and third, and a big swing and a miss. Cruz the RBI double, and the Orioles right back at the Cardinals and against Lynn, who, as we said, has given up just the 2 runs per ball game or less in each of his last 6 starts. 0-1 delivery. That's going to catch the knees in the outside corner. And an 0-2 count on Davis.
Yeah, he has been rock solid here recently. I mean, he pitched through the month of July with just a 1.71 earned run average and stayed pretty dominant here in August.
0-2 delivery. Davis goes after one up and away.
Lance Lynn getting ahead and then getting Chris Davis to expand the zone. Fastball riding to the top, up and out over. You see that movement as he gets on the side there. That 3/4 arm slot tends to have the ball kind of work itself away from the lefty. He took advantage of it there.
So Delman Young now with 2 down and runners at second and third. Orioles in the first 2 games of this series 8 for 25 with runners in scoring position. They'd left 16 first 2 games. And Young will take the strike, the hit machine again.
He has been a machine since June 3rd. 367, 4 home runs, 13 RBI. And big night yesterday, picking up that home run. And everything Buck Showalter asks of him, he does, whether it's starting in left field, DHing, or pinch hitting.
0-1 delivery to him will be fouled away. Against right-handers, he's hitting .354 coming into this ball game. If he had enough at bats, and obviously the number might not be the same, he'd have the #1 average against right-handed batters in the American League.
Yeah, pretty impressive, right? I mean, he was actually brought in because of his success in his career off lefties, hitting just over 300 in his career. And I mean, he had good success off righties, 276 in his career, but boy, is he on him right now.
Young with the 2 for 5, the home run, 3 RBIs in this series. Lynn meeting with Cruz. Tony Cruz doing the catching today. A.J. Przinsky had been in there for the Cardinals. Mike Matheny, the former catcher, resting Przinsky in the day game. They will be heading to Miami to continue their road trip, 3 against the Marlins coming up. Lynn with the 0-2 count. 20 pitches thrown by Lynn. Both starters getting a couple innings worth of work in the first inning. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that's going to be taken in a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Well, pretty similar in the sense that really trying to use that fastball. And Lance Lynn kind of known for using the fastball, that two-seam fastball. We've seen some jam shots, a couple broken bats. Not very many breaking balls.
Second and third for the Orioles, 2 outs. Here's the 1-2 delivery. The other thing Delmon Young has done, he leads the American League in pinch hits. You don't get a lot of chances in the American League. He's gone 9 for 17 as a pinch hitter with a home run, 4 runs, and 4 RBIs. 5.29 average. Without the double switch, of course, that you see in the National League. Pinch hitters less needed and fewer opportunities in the junior circuit. Here's the 1-2 delivery outside. He won't chase. 2-2.
Well, he was really making him work here in the early going. And that's what you want to do. Get that pitcher, starting pitcher, to throw as many pitches as possible. Orioles putting together some good at bats, just like the Cardinals did in the first inning.
2-ball 2-strike count. Delmon Young, a base hit, could bring in 2. And a swing and a miss as Lynn pulled it in just enough. So a couple of strikeouts. The Orioles get a run back on 3 hits. They leave 2 on after 1, a 2-1 Cardinal lead. To look forward to Miller time later in our ball game today, brought to you by Miller Lite. More injuries around Major League Baseball today. In Detroit, Anibal Sanchez, pectoral muscle strain. Joaquin Soria, left oblique. Both have been put on the DL by the Tigers today. And for Cleveland, their outfielder David Murphy, right abdominal strain, and Nick Swisher, their DH, right knee problem. They have gone on the 15-day DL. I think you should start taking ground balls again, because at this rate you have an opportunity to be re-signed. Won't be anybody left to play.
Yeah, no kidding. It wouldn't take me long to get on that list if I did.
And therein lies the problem.
Yeah, just thinking about it, I'm hurting.
2-1 ball game. See if Kevin Gausman can settle down here in the second inning. 7 batters came to the plate against him in the first inning. He'll get Tony Cruz, Descalso, and Carpenter here in the top of the second inning. Cruz has had only 1 at bat in this series. He is 0 for 1 in it. 228, backup catcher. Getting some time in this ball game today. Had a couple of hits. 2 runs scored last start against the Brewers, and the pitch is taken for a strike.
A.J. Pierzynski caught the first 2 games, and Ooh, oh boy, with their long ones for him.
Long.
Trying to figure out the right numbers to put down. Orioles hitters really putting a beating on Lackey and Masterson.
That one is going to miss inside. In the starts that Cruz has made behind the plate, he's hit .250, 10 RBIs. This is his 25th start for the Cardinals. 1 ball, 1 strikeout, Tony Cruz. 1-2.
Well, you know, Kevin Gausman, when we went back in after that last inning, well, certainly fired up to get that double play to get out of that big jam. But, you know, I had a talk with Dave Wallace, certainly talked with Caleb Joseph, possibly one of the starting pitchers. They're always watching each other to see if there might be a mechanical flaw, something they pick up. So trying to make the adjustment here. Nice job getting ahead.
Check swing. Check it first. Mark Carlson. Cruz retired.
Well, he makes a good pitch with the fastball down and in. Boy, that was a good call. Thought he held up. It was pretty close, but he didn't like the call.
So 1 away for a strikeout for Gausman. Gets the leadoff man here. Descalso at third base. The 3 for 5 in the series. And the pitch for a strike. 6 left-handed batters in this lineup again for the Cardinals. None of them are switch hitters. 0-1 delivery. Descalso and a swing and a miss. The lefties have hit better against Gausman at .274 compared to the .260 for right-handers, but when you line up all the at-bats, it's not a tremendous difference. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Check again. And again. 2 strikeouts on check swings.
Those check swings because of the live fastball that Kevin Gausman possesses. Here he rides one to the top of the zone. There's the grip. Up and out over. And just got to gear up and start a little too soon. And Descalso can't hold up there. Back-to-back Ks for Gausman.
Now the top of the order. Carpenter started the ball game out with a base hit and would score. The DH today. And Carpenter will take the pitch for a strike. He's going to try and give Lynn a little break over there by at least taking 1 pitch. As his pitcher had a long first inning, and now Gausman threatening to get the side down in a hurry here in this one. And that one is going to miss. Close. 1-1. Orioles have had at least 10 runs and 15 hits, along with 3 home runs in back-to-back games. See if they can do it 3 times in a row or anything close. 1-1 pitch on the way, and that's outside. Orioles have not had those kind of back-to-back games since the team moved to Baltimore in 1954, but once before, where they've gone double-digit runs, double-digit hits, and at least 3 home runs in back-to-back games. Pitch is down low. 3 ball, 1 strike count now on Carpenter.
Yeah, I don't know that there are a lot of teams that can do that. I mean, that's pretty impressive offensive production right there.
Here's the in-count switch. Three-one delivery on the way, and that's a strike.
They make a quality pitch, get it into a hitter's count here. Kevin Gausman just burying the bottom of the zone with 94.
Gabe Morales, home plate umpire, one of the young umpires working this year, the league's really high on. 3-2 delivery, grounded down to first base. It'll be played by Davis, and that will retire the side. Wow. 1-2-3 after a 2-run, 4-hit first inning. Albert Pujols home run 19th against the Red Sox in the 19th inning, his 11th career walk-off home run and the first one since June of 2011 as they came back to beat the Red Sox. The Twins traded Kevin Correa to the Dodgers, a player to be named in cash. Dodgers trying to increase the strength of their pitching game. And the A's tied their season-high 11 walks, pair of middle-inning home runs from Vogt and Norris, and a 9-4 win over the Twins. And the Saturday Night Lights.
11 walks in a game.
Imagine that.
That's really what they're kind of known for, right? That on-base percentage and seeing a lot of pitches.
Twins are really struggling. They're already looking ahead to next year, trying out some of the younger pitchers. Well, here's Caleb Joseph. Need we say more?
Really? Making history.
He's the one. Caleb continuing to put on an unbelievable show, perhaps the most unexpected portion of this season yet. Homering in 5 straight games, setting the Oriole mark for a catcher. Pitch will be taken up high.
Yeah, Caleb Joseph, and that has been red hot. 5 straight games with a home run. So many of the pitches on that inside corner, and his bat path has been so clean and direct to the baseball. I mean, seeing the ball so well. I mean, what a year it's been, obviously, for Caleb Joseph.
Take a look at the numbers he has put up regarding most consecutive games with a home run by rookies since 1914. Rudy York, George Olasek, Ron Kittle with the White Sox, Marty Cordova, and now Caleb. For rookie home runs, 5 consecutive games. And the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. During this streak that he's on, this home run streak, 5 games, he's hitting .444. And it's not just the home runs. 3-2 delivery on the way and strung him out. And Joseph, a big flip of the bat. He's gone the K route.
Yeah, when you do that to a catcher, and take a look at Lynn's fastball. It was up borderline. And Caleb Joseph turned around saying, well, we better get those pitches as well. And see over top. Appeared to be up and away off the plate.
And there you have the reaction of the manager. No words necessary. Here's Ryan Flaherty. Flaherty will pump it foul. He's had a good series against the Cardinals with a couple of hits, a home run, 2 RBIs for him. Getting the start at shortstop today with J.J. Hardy out with a sprained thumb. There is J.J. Something that happened just before the game started. 0-1 delivery will be fouled off. For Flaherty, this is his 10th start at shortstop this year.
Well, Ryan Flaherty had to play some games at shortstop. J.J. Hardy early on in the season had some hamstring and some back problems. So Ryan Flaherty slides over there, and certainly Buck Showalter trusts him at that shortstop position. Really the only player that can play there, and you know, Ryan Flaherty has the ability to play all the infield positions, even outfield as well.
You see the wrap.
Yeah,
it's on that thumb.
And JJ had started to heat up, so hopefully he's not out very long.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that will be popped up third base. Descalso, will he have room? No. Out of play, so Flaherty with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 2-1 ball game. Cardinals out on top. Orioles batting here in the bottom half of the second inning. Series featuring all the Orioles offense. Mike Matheny's team trying to prevent being swept. Orioles have already won the series, of course, by taking the first 2. They are now 22-10-7 in series. And that pitch will miss down low, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Orioles have won a season high 7 consecutive series, and just playing some outstanding baseball. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and that's right there.
Well, you better swing the bat, boys. I mean, he's showing it early. Take a look at the pitch track. 2-seamer catching the bottom of the pitch track. Let's take a look at the side angle. Flaherty thinking of probably a little bit low as that two-seamer has that late sink.
So Lynn trying to have a second inning like Kevin Gausman did. Lynn threw 24 pitches in the first inning, giving up the run on 3 hits. Breaking ball for a strike. And then just like Gausman, he comes back and strikes out the first 2 he faces in the second inning. So Jonathan Schoop getting an extra start. He was not in the original starting lineup for the Orioles. And the pitch bounced. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Jonathan.
Jonathan Schoop got on a couple fastballs in this series, so Lynn, who's really been fastball happy, those back-to-back sliders to Schoop.
1-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss down low. Jonathan with the 2 for 4 against the Cardinals. Also a couple of walks. He's had 2 runs scored in this series. In the month of August, 4 for 16 with a home run. Lynn with a 2-1 pitch to him and a big cut. 2-2.
Well, Lynn's got a big arm. I mean, he'll work that two-seamer, low 90s, but at times he'll rush it up there 95, 96 at times. You see him work the pitch track and kind of moving it all over the place on Schoop.
2-2. Had to ride that one up and in. 2 ball, 2 strike count, and you do that against Schoop, you better get it in. He goes upstairs and really smashes pitches that are either high strikes or even a little out of the strike zone.
And Lance Lynn up to 41, Gausman at 50. And a couple good young pitchers, and their pitch counts up early in the ballgame.
Missed outside, good eye, and the count goes 3-2.
Trying to work that outside corner. A couple questionable calls, but yeah, it's off the plate.
3-2, 2 down, nobody on. The 3-2 delivery on the way and jammed him, popped it up. Cruz will put it away. So a clean inning for Lynn as he comes back and retires the side in order. And after 2, it's the Cardinals up by 1. Disagree.
Yeah, they say no way, give us the night games. You see their record 50-28, that's first. The daytime having some struggles, but they've been picking it up here lately, and they're looking to buck that trend here today. I mean, the Orioles offense is heated up. They'd love to, they've been playing well at home, so you look to see that batting average continue to rise, and of course the starting pitching and the bullpen has been outstanding. So the batting average and the team ERA certainly going to come down, one go up in positive direction for the Orioles.
Our Jeep inside the numbers as the Orioles trail by 1 here. The other thing the fans have noted, and I have never put much stock in it, but maybe it matters. The Orioles are 8-10 on Sundays, and they've improved on that. Sundays haven't been one of their favorite days.
No.
Don't know if that lines up with anything, but that's the number. As Red Barber said, I only report them. Here is Colton Wong. Wong, a single and a run scored in the first inning. And the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Only an hour to play 2 innings. We're really moving along here on this Sunday afternoon. Now, all the crew that has superstitions, now you've done it. Now we're going to be here till 8 o'clock tonight. 19 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Lynn and Gausman may have found themselves after the first inning. And now we'll see if they've settled in, both retiring the side in order in the second. That one's going to miss, maybe a little low. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Wong.
Yeah, I think it was the first inning that took about 50 minutes, and then they both made the adjustments in the second, 1, 2, 3 for both of them. So good young pitchers making the early adjustments.
And late on that cut, fouls it back. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
We're going to hope for Colton Wong to really add a lot of thump to this offense. He'd been kind of battling through a shoulder injury the first half of the season. He's picked it up a little more since the All-Star break, but
that's to center, and that's a base hit. So 2 for 2 for Wong, leadoff man, on 2 of the 3 innings. It's Masson's final day of social media weekend here at Camden Yards, styled by Hair Cuttery. All weekend long, fans have had chances to win great prizes and exclusive opportunities. Check out Masson Orioles on Twitter for more info, and share a haircut with a child in need. Find out how at haircuttery.com. Here's Matt Holliday. Holliday a base hit his first time up. Pitch is taken for a strike. 5 hits for the Cardinals, 3 for the Orioles so far.
There you go. Nice breaking ball to get ahead. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Flip it over there for a strike, and everybody goes, what? He's got a breaking ball like that? All right. Start thinking about it throughout the course of the ball game, and then you get into some good pitchers' counts, and might be able to sneak fastballs by him more often.
Throw over, and Wong is back to the bag. Cardinal team has shown no chance to run here in this series. Obviously, one of the reasons they've been behind by so much so early that they haven't really had any situation where they could run. Their leading base stealer, Wong, 17 out of 19. Big lead. Not going, though. And the pitch will miss outside to Holliday. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You wonder if they're ever going to really try to push the envelope, try to spark this offense a little bit.
Wong just out of the top 10 in stolen bases in the National League. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that will be fouled off. Holliday angry at himself. That's the one he wanted to hit, and you many times only get 1 per at bat.
You really do, but I think that's kind of a testament to that arm that Kevin Gausman has. And there's the fastball, 96 miles an hour, 97. Nissan Pitch Track says it was right down the middle, but that free, easy arm that Gausman has, it just explodes out of his hand, and it gets on a hitter quick.
1-2 count, nobody out. Runner not going, and again fouled away. Cardinals are 12th in the National League in stolen bases, so they don't run a lot. The Dodgers are on top. D. Gordon is the leading base stealer in the league, and the Dodgers are the #1 base stealing team in the league. 1-2 on Holliday with Adams waiting on deck. Looking at 1-2 and inside. That one will miss. Cardinals showing some real patience here early in the ball game, at least at the plate, which is not particularly unusual for them. They are 6th in on base percentage and 11th in slugging. That's what we were talking about, how they have to manufacture runs. They are 2nd fewest runs scored in the National League this year. Gausman, the 2-2 delivery on the way, and he got him.
Well, that's about as good as Holiday's going to see. Nasty split finger. I mean, it is coming in hard. The great arm action, but it's belt high. When Holiday makes a decision, okay, I'm going to swing and I'm going to hammer this, and then it just disappears under his bat. He gets way out in front on it. That's a big time pitch there.
So Wong remains on at first base, and now 1 down. Hasn't shortened up his lead over there. Adams, throw over. Rookie second baseman. As Adams stands in, picked up an RBI, and then a big play in this game. Ended up being thrown out at the plate to end the first inning on the Tavares fly ball. Adam Jones threw him out. And the off-speed delivery is going to miss outside, ball 1.
Yeah, really, Cardinals might end up looking back at that play and wishing they may have made a different decision. I mean, Kevin Gausman was really laboring. The Orioles bullpen had just started to get active. There's a jam shot to shallow center field. And, well, you got to keep the pressure on a young pitcher, and they made a probably ill-advised send there to double up and get out of that inning. I mean, it certainly helps Kevin Gausman. And here he is, you know, still pitching, but boy, he was being challenged there in the first.
Yeah, that could have been the play that kept him in the game. 2-0 count on Adams. Gausman's delivery to him, got around on it, fouled it off. Fastball, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Adams up among the leaders in the National League. He is 6th in batting average starting the day at .309, 10th in slugging percentage. Batting in that cleanup spot, 33 multi-hit games this year for him. Two-one delivery, runner not going. Went after the pitch up in the strike zone. It didn't get it. 2-2.
Late life through the top of the zone, 94 miles an hour. Adams has chased a couple already. And it's a good look, but it just takes off up and away.
"17 home runs with the Cardinals last year for Adams. 2-2 delivery on the way, and he'll foul that one off. Played in 108 games with the Cardinals last season. First time he really was with the club most of the year. Season before, he'd only played in 27 games, as they've been developing him as a hopeful power hitter for a lot of years to come for the Cardinals. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Wong off first. And a swing and a miss at 82 miles an hour.
Boy, that change has come up big. And really just two-pitch pitcher here. And this is the circle change. And look at the fade at the end. Takes enough off. 82 miles an hour. Another big-time pitch there.
So Wong got the leadoff single. He's still over there, but there are 2 down. 4 strikeouts. All have been swinging. 2 check swings. And then here in this inning on Holiday and Adams. Peralta base hit RBI first time up. That's going to go all the way to the backstop. Wong will go down to second base. And so the Cardinals get a runner in scoring position on the wild pitch, the 6th of the year by Gausman.
A wild pitch for Gausman, but Caleb Joseph, I'm sure, feeling like he should have blocked that ball. Ended up going through the 5-hole. Slider just skidding underneath the glove.
So Peralta with a chance. for another RBI. Big lead at second, and the slider's going to miss, and the count goes to 2-0.
Pretty good pitch there. Good changeup. Catching the bottom of the pitch track.
Peralta closing in on 300 for the month of August. That base hit he got. 2-0 delivery to him, and that's going to miss down low. That scattered a little dust around the plate, and the count goes to 3-0. Long at second base, 2 down. If you're Peralta, do you swing here?
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, Peralta probably the most dangerous hitter on this team right now. I mean, a lot of production. You got to give him the green light. See how careful the Orioles are trying to pitch him right now.
And that'll be a strike, but on the outside corner. Good location on it, and the count goes to 3-1.
They started him off with a curve, and then went to the changeup. Then missed with the fastball down, and then spotted up a good one there. But another good hitter's count. He's got to come up with a quality pitch here.
3-1 count. And that's up high and walked him. So Gausman surrenders his second walk of the ball game. That'll put runners on at first and second with 2 down. And it will bring up John Jay. Single by Wong and the walk to Peralta. Jay drew the other walk that came in the first inning. Outfield will move in a couple of steps, even though he had a home run yesterday. Jay's not had but 2 on the year. You see that pitch count just sky high at 72. 2 down, 2 on. And that's going to be to right and a base hit. Making the turn, Wong. Here's Markakis challenging the arm and not in time to get him. A single and an RBI for Jay. Wong will score the Cardinals' 3rd run. And down to second base after the single goes Jay on the throw.
Well, 2 outs, so Wong at second base, a good secondary lead. I mean, this ball, it's not smoked out to Markakis. A changeup, he gets it off the end of the bat out in front, but Nick doing a good job closing the distance. And right at the end, though, a little bit of a fade on the throw, but Wong flying around third to pick up their 3rd run.
Well, here's a big moment in the ball game again. Jay gets his 28th RBI. Tavares up. 2nd and 3rd and 2 down. Cardinals 3-1 lead. Gausman's pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Tavares with that big fly ball double played and the first inning and the fly ball to Jones. 2nd time up for TJ McFarland. Gausman the set in the 0-1. Kevin Gausman this year, the average has jumped considerably when he works out of the stretch. When he's in the windup, 248. When he's in the stretch, 296. One ball, 1 strike. Peralta, Jay, the base runners. And a wild cut on a pitch away by Tavares.
A good fastball right there. But we're talking about the Orioles overall as a team, some of their struggles in the daytime. Well, Kevin Gausman kind of feeling the same effects. Night games 5-0 record. Look at that earned run average at 2.39. But in his daytime starts, it's a 1-3 record. That earned run average jumping up to 5.92. And opponents hitting 316. So trying to make the adjustments here in this ball game. Kind of been up and down here for Kevin Gausman the first 3 innings.
And he gets a 2-2 count here on Tavares. Generally, pitchers, especially those with fastballs, love daytime. You get a little glare, and hitters don't see it as well. Not so far, at least, for Kevin Gausman. 2-2 delivery, and fouled away to hold the count.
Yeah, Buck Showalter was actually talking about that earlier today. It's about sometimes the sunny days gets a little glare out there, makes it hard on hitters and fielders alike. So there is somewhat of an advantage for a pitcher. And today, one of those blue skies, a lot of sun out.
Here's the 2-2 delivery and another wild card. So Gausman gets a big strikeout, 5 of them in the game, a run in on a couple of hits and 2 left on. 3-1 Cardinals. You've won $500 for being selected, $500 more for every Orioles home run hit. Played the Orioles scratch off from the Maryland Lottery. Your chance to be a contestant. Could win a trip for 2 to the World Series. You can find out how at mdlottery.com/Orioles.
Well, Dave Wallace and Kevin Gausman having a little discussion. And Kevin Gausman every start learning a little bit more. Of course, you never stop learning in this game, but nobody better than to help you than Dave Wallace. Been through so much in his career, an outstanding pitching coach, and only picking up the subtle little aspects about the adjustments you have to make in game. And they're intently listening, Kevin Gausman.
Orioles down 3-1, bottom of the 3rd inning. Nick Markakis, a base hit, run scored. Cruz, the RBI double. 4-game hit streak now for Nick. Lynn has walked none, struck out 4. And Markakis will take it away for a ball. Lynn trying to prevent the sweep by the Orioles in this series. And if anybody on the mound can do it for the Cardinals, this is the one. His ERA 10th in the National League at 2.89. Came in with 140 innings and only 126 hits. Team's gone 14-9 in the starts he's made. 2-1 delivery. Markakis off the fists. Bermuda Triangle area. Bink. Base hit. So Nick is 2 for 2.
And finding a way. And didn't crush it. Good pitch here in the inside corner. Gets it right off the label. It's all about the placement. You see all 3 defenders converging. That pitcher, help me please, what's going on? I'm making the good pitch.
So the Orioles get the leadoff man on again. Manny Machado had a base hit. His first time up. Manny Machado with a runner at first and nobody out. First ball hitting, first base side. Adams. No play on that. He and Cruz going over. Machado, of course, since coming off that suspension, has just been one of the hottest players in baseball. at the plate. Has had great series. Machado hitting .368 in the month of August with 1 home run, up to .277 on the year. And the pitch is taken for a strike.
Yeah, he really heated up in July. I mean, he hit .333 in July, and it's been an interesting year for Manny. You talk about a young player kind of learning and going through some a growing process. Of course, the offseason knee surgery, and went through spring training, just kind of get himself back. And when he came back to the big leagues, it took him a while to get his legs underneath him. Sure, he thought everything was all right, but I think he forgot to realize how fast this game is, and it took him, a couple weeks really to make the adjustment both offensively and defensively. He started a little bit slow, but certainly back on top of his game. He's played an outstanding defense and very consistent with the bat here for the last month and a half.
1-2 delivery and a check swing is going to miss outside. 2 ball, 2 strike count. But Showalter brought Manny back, hitting down in the lineup where supposedly there's less pressure for a hitter. And once he started hitting, then Buck moved him right back up into the number 2 spot behind Markakis. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Nick short lead at first base and a strike on the inside corner. Lynn gets his 5th. Manny gets a discussion with Gabe Morales, introducing himself to the young umpire, and I'm a young player. And
take a look at the pitch track, the 2-seamer. Wow, working itself well and off the plate. Take a look from above. That's about on the chalk line of the batter's box. Manny letting him know. A few Orioles hitters having some discussions with Gabe Morales.
Probably not going to hit that one. Toronto, the Yankees trailing the Orioles by 6, tied for second. Detroit's leading Toronto 5-0. Price is pitching in that one for the Tigers. He's given up 2 hits in 4 innings and struck out 5. That ball's looped to left center field, a base hit by Jones. Markakis will stop at second base, and the Orioles have 2 on and 1 away here in the 3rd inning. Celebrate the release of the 2015 Orioles Pet Calendar. You can join J.J. Hardy, Tommy Hunter, Chris Tillman, David Lowe, Bud Norris, Matt Wieters at Barks at 301 Stockholm Street, downtown Baltimore. An autograph session Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 1. Fans can purchase the new calendar for the first time at that event. Receive the autographs from the players in attendance. And you can learn more by going to Orioles.com/pet calendar. Always a favorite and a great gift at Christmas time. Not Matt Wieters, the calendar. First and second, 1 away. Here's Cruz, RBI double his first time up. Orioles now with 5 hits to the Cardinals 6. Cleveland's taken a 2-0 lead over the Yankees. They're in the 5th inning. Brantley 1 for 2 and 2 RBIs for the Indians. So both the Yankees and Toronto trailing in their ball games. 1-0 pitch on the way. That's going to miss outside. So Lynn and Gausman, the 2 starters. It has been one major work day on this Sunday afternoon. Each retired the side in order in the 2nd, but 1st and 3rd innings for both long and hard. 2-0 delivery. Cruz takes in the dirt.
Boy, Lynn being real careful. Of course, here is why. Most RBI in interleague play since 2011. Nelson Cruz, the leader, with 56. Of course, picking up that 1 RBI in the 1st inning. And this is a guy you want at the plate. His bat is starting to come back around, and he is a big reason why they're having so much success this season. In interleague play, 9 wins, just 4 losses on the year.
3-0 count, and not even close. There's the first walk surrendered by Lynn. It loads the bases for Chris Davis. Almost looked like a pitch around.
Oh, it really did. And did not challenge him at all.
Big moments coming early in this ball game. Now 1 for the Orioles offensively. The bases loaded and only one down. Davis, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Orioles trailing by 2 with a chance to get him back and then some here in the third inning. Chris 3 for 5 with the bases loaded, including 1 grand slam this year, and goes after it and fouls it back.
Good pass right
after
there.
That time.
Yeah, and this is a reason why this team is so dangerous. The heart of this lineup, the home run leaders. Cruz 30, Jones 22, Davis 20 home runs. It's the only major league team with 3 players with 20 home runs or more. Get to the heart of this lineup and your work is cut out for you. Lynn in a jam right now.
0-1 delivery on the way, and that will be up high. Davis, 1 ball, 1 strike count. Just trying to stay away from that K. Lynn wants the ground ball or the strikeout. Chris now at the top in the American League in strikeouts. 1-1 pitch, and that's up high. Lynn firing all over the place, and it's 2-1.
It really is. I mean, he's missing up, he's missing down. I mean, primarily a really good command of his fastball. And worked that 2-seamer. He's made some pretty good pitches. Of course, some tough luck on some base hits, but I think just what he's seen in the first 2 games has really kind of gotten into his head a little bit, trying to be really careful. Some of these Orioles hitters.
Orioles 1 for 4, runners in scoring position today. Came back inside, foul tipped into the mitt. 2 ball, 2 strike count on Davis. Good pitch by Lynn right there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he can really rush it up there. 94 miles an hour here, right on the inside corner. Got a good arm.
Davis, 2-2, sacks loaded with Markakis, Jones, and Cruz. Shift on, but not entirely around. And another strikeout. So Lynn with 6 strikeouts, 2 of them have been Davis swinging. Big out.
Man, take a look at the pitch track. I mean, really just all over the perimeter. But he found a hole earlier, up and away, and this is where they've been trying to attack. Good fastball out there. Take a look at Lance Lynn's delivery. A big guy, 6'5", 250 pounds. Controls himself pretty well. And here lets a good fastball go up and away. Big strikeout with the bases loaded.
So Delman Young's going to get the opportunity. He's 1 for 3 with the bases loaded this year, and that could have hurt him. That pitch almost caught his top hand even while he was swinging.
That's what a good 2-seamer can do. That's all in the kitchen right there. 93 miles an hour. Young's committing to it, and that ball just takes off inside. Look at it right in. Man, oh man, tying Delman Young all up.
Young 268 with runners in scoring position, also a strikeout victim today. Target set outside. It went right where Cruz wanted it, but it wasn't a strike. 1 grand slam in his career, but a solid .316 average. 1 ball, 1 strike on Young. Lynn trying to get out of the inning after the Orioles had loaded the bases with only 1 away. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way up high. Young has faced Lynn before. There aren't many in the lineup of the Orioles. In fact, only a couple have ever seen him before in the batter's box. He's 2 for 7 lifetime against him. And now wanting to make sure, both with the catcher and with the infield defense, as Wong came in to see what they were going to throw here.
Yeah, possibly change up signs. I mean, I think right now Wong, the catcher, is trying to move around. He moves around late. I mean, almost when the pitcher goes into his windup. He's possibly thinking that runner at second base is giving location. But he sets up inside, then jumps outside, then sets up. I mean, just always moving. Sometimes might be hard for the pitcher just to pick up that target. You know, And I think if I was pitching, I would like to see one steady target, but he really sets up late.
3 ball, 1 strike count. There is no place to put Delmon Young. The base is loaded and 2 away. So Lynn needing to throw a strike. Young hoping it'll be 1 to charge. Foul back. And a full count, 3-2. So the Oriole back runners, Jones at second, Cruz at first. They'll be going with 2 down. Matheny on the left, the Cardinal manager, who'd been to the World Series last year. Buck Showalter with a ball club would like to get there this year. (3-2), 2 down. Both managers biting their nails, and they'll keep doing it as it's fouled back.
A real good opportunity here for Delmon Young and the Orioles with the bases loaded in this full count. The first baseman for the Cardinals playing way off the bag, so that'll afford Nelson Cruz a chance to get way off there. And of course, Adam Jones at second base is going to have that good secondary lead as well. So a base hit and easily score 2. If it gets in the gap, Cruz might have a shot to score from first.
Here's the second such meeting in this at bat.
You definitely think it's about the signs. You bring the infielder in there.
With runners in scoring position, Lynn's opponents have a .223 batting average. Pretty good. Well below that .255 mark average. And popped him up. It'll be to right field. Everybody pointing up. Tavares didn't see it. Finds it. Tavares started back on the ball, and then Wong helped him find that baseball. Orioles get a couple of hits, but they leave them loaded. Cardinals up by 2. Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Luna. For beautiful new carpet, hardwood, and laminate, call 877-241-LUNA. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick on this beautiful Sunday here in Baltimore, where it has been a busy weekend with big crowds turning out for the Orioles.
Yeah, they've been seeing some great baseball. I mean, I think they've been waiting for this Orioles offense to really come alive. And they certainly have here in this series. Right now, some early struggles from Kevin Gausman and Lance Lynn when the Cardinals pitched himself out of some early jams. And Kevin's still looking to settle in this ball game. Try to get a little bit deeper. That pitch count up so early, though, 79 to this point. Had some big discussions with pitching coach Dave Wallace between innings.
So the Cardinals bat with Kevin Gausman working here in the 4th inning, but with a very big pitch count. Cruz a strikeout victim, then followed by Descalso and Carpenter at the top of the order. And a check swing foul. The Orioles just the run on 5 hits. The Cardinals 3 runs, 6 hits. Orioles have left 5. The Cardinals have left 4. RBI first inning for the Cardinals. Adams, fielder's choice. Jay, RBI single, and Peralta an RBI single. Orioles a double by Nelson Cruz in the 1st inning. Another one jammed him, and another partial cut. You put those 2 swings together and you don't have a check swing.
Yeah, those 2 fastballs riding in on Cruz, not committing to the swing, and a boring 2-seamer. And Lynn's showing a good 2-seamer riding in on some righties, and Kevin Gausman a couple good ones there to Cruz.
See if he throws a strike to him here. 0-2 delivery on the way. Came back inside. Close pitch. And a 1-ball 2-strike count on Tony Cruz.
Wow, real good fastball. I mean, really not committing to the swing on the inside fastball. Why not go back in there? Pitch track showing just off the plate, but that's right where Caleb Joseph wanted it.
And a swing and a miss. Then softened up on him and got him for the strikeout.
Cruz thinking, okay, he's got to be coming back in with a fastball. Beautiful changeup. Front hip flies open early, way out in front. Good start to this inning for Kevin Gausman.
Daniel Descalso coming up. Descalso, the 27-year-old, has been with the Cardinals for this his 4th full season. Strikeout victim his first time up. Carries a 243 major league average. A lot of games in last year for the Cardinals as he moves around the infield. 3rd, 2nd, short, and even 5 games at first base. So he is one of your super utility players in this day and age.
And National League becomes a very, very valuable player.
And those double switches. 1-1 delivery on the way and off the end of the bat. That'll be foul. 1-2. The 2 AL rivals facing off starting tomorrow. The Yankees big 3-game set. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Show your Birdland pride. Get out and paint the park orange and see some great baseball. You can get your tickets Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Yankees tomorrow. 1-2 pitch. Gausman wanted it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Both pitchers have 6 strikeouts in the ball game.
Take a look at the pitch here. I mean, he's getting the ball in, both against lefties and righties, just off the plate inside.
And a looper to right. In the gap is Markakis, and he's got it. Descalso's retired. 2 down in the 4th inning.
Nice play right there by Markakis, getting that good jump. Opens up to the gap. Orioles do a good job really filling up the gaps. Markakis, another nice play there.
Talked with Nick about that a couple of days ago, and he was talking about why you play so far over, and I'm more comfortable going to the line than I am going to that gap. So if I go play a normal right fielder's position closer to the line, I'm uncomfortable all the time about balls being hit in the gap, and I'd much rather be in the gap and have to go the other way towards the line to get one. Plus, that's where most of them are hit.
Sure.
We don't see many balls pulled into the right field corner here in this ballpark.
Yeah, and if there's a ball hit down the line, it's probably going to be a double anyway.
Exactly.
You know, you fill up the gap. That's the biggest gap in the field. Close it off. I mean, it gets out there a potential triple.
Yep.
You know, and ball down the line, the way Markakis plays right field, you can either throw him out at second or just hold him to a double.
Carpenter has had a single and a run scored, is grounded out. 2-0 delivery by Gausman to him. See, in this case, Nick is right in the gap. I mean, he's not even over on towards the right field side. That big gap where it goes to 370 plus. He's right smack dab in the middle, so there's very little room between center and right field. 2-1 delivery gets that one in for a strike. Again, coming in off speed. 2-2.
In a lot of ways, too, I think outfielders, much like infielders, play the tendencies. And I think Wayne Kirby says, listen, if you're playing a shift on a guy in the outfield if they pull the ball and they're power hitters, it's probably going to be a home run, and if they pull it in a gap, why not cut it off?
Manny Machado, the only one on that side. There's a pick. Davis comes away with it, and a 1-2-3 inning for Gosselin, with the Cardinals still up 3-1. In July 28 of 07, Cal Ripken inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. 21 memorable years with the O's. Rookie of the Year 82, World Series ring in 83. The Iron Man, of course, with that 26-32. And Cal being inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And, of course, one of the great statues that's out there for you to visit when you come to Camden Yards at Legends Park.
He came in for the 60th anniversary celebration the other night. And great to see him and all the other great Orioles.
Orioles down by 2 in the 4th inning, and the pitch will be taken away for a ball. Here is Joseph, strikeout victim, his first time up. And the fans all waiting to see if he can yet have another home run in this ball game, having hit a home run in 5 consecutive. One behind Chris Davis in 2012 and Reggie Jackson in 76 for consecutive games with a homer by an Oriole. Ball put up in the air, shallow center. Jay under it, and he will put it away. One away here in the 4th. Time for all fans to tweet their photo using hashtag #MassinFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. I wish some who were attending the Otakon Festival here at the Conference Center downtown, not far from the Yard, would tweet some of their pictures. I am absolutely unfamiliar with it until driving back and forth to the ballpark and seeing the costumes that they were wearing going into the convention center.
Something else, huh?
Unbelievable. Beautiful. I mean, some of them are strikingly artistic. And the Otakon Festival, I guess, has to do with Japanese cartoon characters and fiction. And they dress up as those characters, and they do the convention here in Baltimore apparently every year. It's like the 3rd year they've been here. Huge crowd.
Yeah, they say it's like the biggest in the world.
Yeah. And you see them on the street going back and forth from hotels and the convention center. Wow. Unbelievable outfits. Colorful.
Maybe we should follow that.
Down to first base. Adams will make the play. Flaherty is retired. He's 0 for 2 in the ballgame. Well, we'd have to go through the list of all of those characters that they represented and pick one out. And I haven't done that yet. I'll get right on that, though, for you. Because it ends today. They are counting down their final day here in Baltimore, and they plan to come back next year. Let's see. August 7, 2014, and about the same date next year. That's going to be fouled off.
Another piece of wood right there. The two-seamer riding in on Jonathan Schoop. Well, that velocity and that good two-seam run that he gets on the fastball, he's probably close to leading the league in broken bats.
Jonathan Schoop, 0-1 count, 2 down. Popped out his first time up. That'll go to second base. Wong's got it. Boy, what a strange game this is. Side retired in order for 2 of the 4 innings. It's either everything or nothing for the offenses each inning. Of the Kansas City Star, James Shields, so dominant ball game yesterday. He only needed 1 run to win this one. In the 5th inning, Alex Gordon supplied it with a home run. The Royals crushed the San Francisco Giants by a score of 5-0 in that game. Kansas City's red hot. And he said Kansas City Royals are a legitimate playoff team. You'd have a hard time convincing anyone who attended this game that they are not. He's probably right about that. And also from Pittsburgh, the Post-Gazette, Jen Menendez, the Pirates have faced a double whammy this past week, playing without McCutchen, the fractured rib, and Walker with the back tightness. Neither was placed on the disabled list. That has left a short bench for manager Clint Hurdle to work with. Said Hurdle, it presents, some different challenges, as only Clint could put it. Pirates trying to make a run at it, but they too struggling with injuries. There's a young man on hand. Didn't go to the Otakon convention this afternoon, at least, but certainly has the hair to get in.
Loving the Orioles.
Great. Here's Colton Wong as we go to the 5th inning. Wong has twice singled and scored. Impact player in this ball game. Now with a couple of hits and 11 at bats in the series. And 257 on the year. Machado in at third base. That one hit to right at Markakis, and he can't get it. Those are the toughest, as we talk so often for outfielders. Balls hit right at them, and that one just died and dove.
Well, you saw Markakis kind of look over at Adam Jones at the end, and it just had the top spin lob effect. I mean, he got on this high fastball, and it just bit down hard at the end, almost like a Chris Tillman breaking ball. And you see Markakis, I mean, he's taking a step back and then tries to adjust to make the play, but it was just biting down.
Base hit, and Wong is 3 for 3. Holiday is singled and is struck out. That's hit number 7 for the Cardinals. And the pitch will be inside for a ball. Kevin Gausman trying to get through this 5th inning. so that any Oriole run scored in the bottom half would be to his credit, as that pitch count's now at 96. Long again, a base stealer over there being held. 1-0 delivered. He stayed inside on Holiday, and the count will go to 2-0. And for the third time, McFarland's up, so he'll be in either in this inning or the next one.
Yeah, Buck certainly doesn't like to get his pitchers in the bullpen up and down, but there have been so many questionable innings for Kevin Gausman, whether or not he was going to be able to make it through.
Grounded to short. There's one. Scope. There's two. Flaherty to Scope to Davis, and the double play.
A nice turn by the Orioles once again. Ryan Flaherty, a nice underhand feed. Fundamentally sound here, but take a look at Jonathan Scope throwing it from the hip. There's some hair on that turn right there. Gets himself in a good position, and then the quick pivot from the side, gunning it across the field, making a clean double play.
So with J.J. Hardy out, Flaherty taking over at short. Hardy out with that left thumb sprain. 2 down, nobody on. Takes care of that leadoff batter. And here's Matt Adams. Adams a fielder's choice RBI. And he has struck out. 1-0 count, 2 down, 5th inning. Kevin Gausman over the top on him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Second baseman in golden days of yore, one of the ways you stopped runners from coming into you and dumping you was to throw the ball low, right between their eyes.
Oh yeah,
you did that a couple of times, and runners found out about it. Chances were the next time they really go down on the slide.
Yeah.
And kind of stay away. Jonathan Scope, with that arm he's got, will cause runners to think about that. Foul back, 1-2 still.
Kevin Gausman been an up and down kind of day. That first inning, couple runs, 4 hits, but since then, up the 1 run, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts.
And that's going to be a base hit into right field. Adams able to pull that ball. So with 2 down, he is on. Our PNC Minor League Report is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you.
Mike Yastrzemski making the list again, and he's slowly but steadily climbing up through this Orioles system. 307, 13 home runs, 67 RBIs, 30 doubles, 15 triples. He's got speed, he's got power, and doing it all. And he's done it at 3 levels this season. 366 on base plus slugging percentage.
Johnny Peralta with the infield shifted around, and Peralta goes after the first pitch and popped it up to first base, slams the bat down, and Chris Davis puts the ball away in foul territory. No runs on a couple of hits, no errors, and 1 left. The Cardinals 3 and the Orioles 1. 23rd year on the right. Buck Showalter, 60th anniversary for the Orioles. Orioles used to be the St. Louis Browns, and those who remember both, one of them happens to be a columnist for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Bernie Miklasz, and he wrote on Friday about Gertie Cleary, my grandmother. I grew up in those wonderful spiced morsels of crab. This recipe is the most traditional style of baked crab cakes, uses a light spicy mixture of mayonnaise and egg, lightly bound together with cracker crumbs. That columnist, he grew up half of the time here in his early life and then went to St. Louis, and he was invoking the memory of Gertie Cleary and the magnificent crab cakes, and they're on hand here at the ballpark. You can find the recipe, if you want to, in the Post-Dispatch, where they've got a link to it. Bernie Miklasz, the columnist, reminiscing about growing up here and then going to St. Louis and these two franchises that have that connection. Here is Nick Markakis with a couple of singles. Nick has scored a run first inning, RBI by Cruz. Gertie Cleary, that is such a great name. She hailed from the Greenmount Avenue area of Baltimore, St. Anne's Parish in northeast Baltimore. She was a favorite when it came to cooking artistry, and her crab cakes were well known around the city, apparently.
They sound good to me.
It's a very simple recipe. Went and looked it up. What it calls for is a lot of crab meat. A base hit. So a 3-for-3 ball game. Nick Markakis is on, and the Orioles here in the 5th inning will bring the potential tying run to the plate with nobody out.
It's another lousy multi-hit game there for Nick Markakis, and continues his incredible streak against the interleague contests. A couple Orioles players with some big-time numbers in interleague play, Markakis and Cruz, major production.
Nick came in leading all players, active players, in average at .338. He's up that. 4th all-time in average in interleague games. Now here's Manny Machado, first ball hitting. Lynn with a walk and 6 strikeouts. 82 pitches thrown. Machado a base hit and has been called out on strikes against Lynn. These two pitchers having to really dig in after the tough starts they had. For Lynn, it's not unusual. He throws a lot of pitches, the 3rd most among National League pitchers, averaging 104 a game. Missed with that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. What he doesn't do, and what the Orioles have been doing, is hitting home runs. He doesn't give them up. Fewest home runs per 9 innings in the National League, .45. 1-1 delivery on the way. What a shot. Woo. That one must have looked like a balloon, because he jumped on it, and the Orioles have 2 on and nobody out.
Loud noise right there off the bat of Machado. Gets an elevated fastball, 94 miles an hour. This ball is smoked to center field. John Jay thinking he might have a force out at second base. It was hit so hard. Clean line drive right back through the box.
So Adam Jones will get another shot at it. First 2 on here in the 5th inning. Lynn has battled with runners on all afternoon. Orioles 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Jones had a chance. First inning, it into a fielder's choice singled in the 3rd. Takes that one in the air to center field. Jay has got room, and he's got it. Runners will tag. Throw will come into second base. Markakis to 3rd. Machado will stay at first base. Hit on the button, but straight away. 1 out. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield gives $50 to support Be More for Healthy Babies. 292 walks, $14,600. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Nelson Cruz has the Orioles RBI. First inning double that brought home Markakis. Now he's got runners on at first and third and 1 out. He has also drawn a walk. Down by 2 in the 5th. Lynn's delivery on the outside corner for a strike. A grinded out ball game for both pitchers and hitters. A lot of pitches thrown, a lot of chances for the opposing team. For the opposing teams, a lot of base runners on. Tough to get them around. Cruz will take it inside, 1-1.
Yeah, it seems like every other inning they're both being tested. And here Lynn finding himself in another jam. And come up with a big pitch. Orioles threatening again.
One ball, one strike. Lynn has given up only 2 home runs in his last 18 starts. It gets away. Markakis starts, stops, and it goes into the dugout, and he gets a base. The Orioles get a break on that one because Nick was not going to score on that. He started and stopped, and had the ball been playable, he would have gone back to third base, but it wasn't.
Yeah, Orioles catch a break there as it rolls into the dugout. Here's the look Markakis is seeing. It kicks away. It's really hard to tell the depth, and then at the very end realizing it's going to roll into the dugout. Able to walk home.
So the run will score on a wild pitch. Lynn's 7th of the year, and the Orioles are now within 1. Machado down to second base. Cruz with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Lynn with a 2-1 delivery, fouled off. And the Orioles will take that one with only 1 away. Manny Machado being held by Wong, the second baseman. McFarland readying himself to come on for Gausman, so when he runs here, Kevin Gausman, the starter, there to his side of the slate. And it's up high. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Cruz.
There you go. Buck Showalter, Nick Markakis, John Russell all talking about that last play. And probably blocked out by the catcher. It was on that same kind of angle. That's why he was holding up early. And then when he finally saw where the ball was, if it would have stayed in play, it might have been a little too late.
3-2. Not deep, center field. Into that high sky. Jay sets himself up for the throw to third. And does. And the runner will go back. So Manny Machado stays at second base. Cruz retired on the fly ball. And 2 away in the 5th inning. Now Chris Davis, 2 strikeouts, both swinging, as the Orioles trying to get it tied up with a base hit here. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. The shift on. Wong goes back into shallow right field. Runner at second, 2 out.
Well, Lynn's been kind of moving his fastball all around the perimeter of the plate to Chris Davis, but then working up and away to get him a couple times here with the open base. See if he changes a little bit.
Lynn up to 92 pitches thrown. Machado with 2 down, of course, will be off on contact. He's keeping an eye on Peralta, the shortstop, who's behind him.
Another modified shift against Davis.
In on the fists and foul back. The Cardinals seemingly in this series, Mike, have tended to play fewer shifts and less extreme than we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly the shift here on Chris Davis, pulling the second base and Wong out into shallow right field, but they're keeping Peralta back over on the shortstop side. So definitely favoring the middle, but we've seen so many times where they slide 3 infielders over to the right side of the field.
1-1 inside.
And different teams have different philosophies on shifting. Some still haven't bought into the full effect and really trust what they're seeing on the scouting reports. I think a lot of times, especially when you have a team like the Cardinals have such good depth in their pitching, veteran pitchers, a lot of times you can just play the defense according to the pitcher's ability to hit his spots.
Lynn up high, 3-ball, 1-strike count. Chris Davis gets to the hitter's count. Machado, the potential tying run, off second. Lynn has not been able to consistently hit his spots in this game. 3-1 delivery, and that's foul back. Got that one in, and the count's 3-2.
Pretty good pass right there on the fastball away. Let's see if Lynn tries to go to that spot up and away with the fastball here. Let's see, once again working the whole perimeter. 2 pitches away, a couple pitches in.
Too long for Davis, and Chris will step out. Three, 2, and 2 down. Davis in the air, left field. Holiday will put it away. So after 2 on, 3 fly balls, only 1 run on a couple of hits, 1 left on. Now a 1-run ball game. McFarland coming on the pitch.
He came up with some big pitches in some tough situations here, getting the call on the low fastball, riding the top there. But the nasty changeup came up big. Picked up some strikeouts with that pitch here, riding the fastball up and away, and there it is. That good split finger change, dropping down and out of the zone. Here's the Jeep inside the number. 6 strikeouts on the day for Kevin Gausman. His pitch arsenal pretty much the same as he's used all season. 71% fastballs, 5% breaking ball, 24% changeup. Changeups, so 5 innings pitched, 104 pitches, so that pitch count got up early. A tough first inning, and he exits the ball game. And now it's time for the Jiffy Lube pitching change. The Orioles can check this pitching change off their to-do list. Isn't it time for you to check oil change off yours? Come into Jiffy Lube and help keep your vehicle running longer. Well, TJ McFarland in the ball game. He uses his fastball at 72%, the breaking ball at 18%, and the changeup at 10% of the time. It's good fastball, 2-seamer. Runs it down in the zone, can get a ground ball when he needs it. 3.18 earned run average, has 4 wins out of the bullpen this season. 24 strikeouts, 11 walks. Opponents hitting .311, lefties .304, righties at .315.
McFarland, who's done some long work and good work for the Orioles. as John Jay up against him. Jay has singled in a run and has drawn a walk. Kevin Gausman out of the ball game.
There you go. That's what it's all about right there.
Talking some pitching.
Yep.
And an 0-2 count on Jay. It'll be Jay, Tavares, and Cruz. 6, 7, 8 in the order for the Cardinals here in the 6th inning.
Chris Tillman, he's been through it. I mean, now considered a veteran on the staff.
Down to third. Machado was playing the other way. This will take the arm. No. That's Jay's speed right there. That's all the Orioles defense could do. Machado even there. Couldn't get him.
There is not another third baseman in the game that can make this play even close. Jay, the big speed out of the left side of the box. He fires this ball from down under. Accurate. Chris Davis with the big stretch over there. Jay's speed beats it out.
So the leadoff man is on for the Cardinals. They've had a leadoff man on 4 out of 6 innings. Tavares up. He is hit into a double play and struck out. 9 hits for the Cardinals in the ball game. Yankees in town tomorrow night. Bud Norris, Chris Capuano, game number 1. Wei-Yin Chen, Shane Green, game number 2, and then Chris Tillman and Ismael Rogers in game 3. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights, all 7 o'clock ball games. That'll be fouled off. Yankees still losing in the 7th inning, shut out by Cleveland 4-0 at the moment. Orioles would love to have the Yankees coming in and be up by 7. Orioles are going to have to win this game, and the Yankees would have to lose for that to happen.
And Bud Norris, tomorrow's starter. Wei-Yin Chen. I mean, what a tight group. All the starters communicate so well, talk through a ball game together.
1-1 delivery down to first at foul ball. Mark Carlson, first base umpire on it. The Orioles, since the beginning of July, ERA of 2.81. They've gone 25-10 in those 35 games, and that ERA is the 3rd best in the majors, behind San Diego and Seattle. 1-2 count.
It has been an impressive run. I think what I've been most impressed with is the fact that even on some of those days when they haven't had their best stuff, they've found ways to compete through and dig deep, come up with the big pitches, and trust the defense in so many situations. I mean, it's been an impressive turnaround for the rotation.
2-2 jammed him. He went around, maybe? No. Las Diaz down at third. So a 3-ball 2-strike count on Tavares, who takes some big cuts up there. Now Jay looking over Jose Akendo, third base coach, to see whether or not they want him to be running on this. Chris Maloney, the first base coach, talking to him. 3-2, nobody out. Runner not going. Ball's going to be a base hit into left center field. Jay will make the turn. Ball dives right in front of Adam Jones, and the Cardinals here in the 6th inning get the first 2 on against McFarland. The special 54 jerseys and hats worn by the Orioles Friday, as well as the jerseys worn by the Hall of Fame players during the 60th anniversary celebration, have been autographed, authenticated, and are now available for auction at Orioles.com/auction. Proceeds for the Orioles Charitable Foundation. Great chance to pick up a wonderful piece of baseball history. And place your bids right now at Orioles.com/auction. 2 on, nobody out. Tony Cruz in at third base. Manny Machado. See if Matheny bunts. Pitch will be taken outside for a ball. 10 hits in the game for the Cardinals. Cruz will be celebrating his 28th birthday next week. 236. Career hitter at the major league level. He's been the backup catcher for the Cardinals over the last 2.5 years. Will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Cardinals, of course, playing without their leader, Yadier Molina, their catcher. and Walker, their pitcher, who has been in the starting rotation. Both are out on the DL. Mike Matheny relies so heavily on Molina as the general of this team. He directs things on and off the field. 1-1 delivery, breaking ball down the line and right and foul. So McFarland will get ahead of him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
A little surprised not seeing a bunt here. We can't now with the 2 strikes, but in the National League. But hey, Mike Matheny hoping one of his guys can have an extended rally, maybe hit one out of this park.
Cruz 5 for 25 off lefties. A ground ball, not hit hard. Scope 1, relay, not in time. Just not quite hit hard enough to turn the 2. Jay will go to third. Cruz to first on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, just the pace of the ball is what doesn't allow the Orioles to turn this one. You see Jonathan Scope, a good jump, cutting down the distance, gets it to Flaherty plenty of time, and then Flaherty turns and fires on half a step there to beat it out.
So with runners at first and third and 1 away, Descalso, left-handed hitter, 4 for 17 off lefties. Orioles defense will set for 2 with Machado closer at third and Davis holding the bag at first. 1 out. Descalso on the rip fouls it off. Joseph at the plate for a strike.
Following the big sweeping slider. He gets a piece of it, then right off the top of the thigh. Caleb Joseph. Just also trying to take advantage of that breaking ball, pull it in the hole.
Here's the 0-1 to Descalso. Farland goes ahead of him 0-2. Cleveland with a 4-0 lead over the Yankees. Johnny Gomes 2 for 3 day, 2 RBIs. Kuroda threw 97 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. Toronto's making a comeback against the Tigers. Tigers 5, Toronto 4. Just miss. David Price 112 pitches through 6 innings. He gave up 4 runs and 5 hits. The start for Detroit. They had the big lead 5-0. Tigers did, and Toronto scored the last 4. 1-2 count. Descalso's going to get a base hit into right field. Jay will score. Cruz will stop at second base. So Descalso comes through, increases the lead for the Cardinals to 4-2.
Well, TJ, nice job getting ahead, but second slider he's seen at this at bat, and he didn't get it the location he wanted. Sure, it was on the outside corner, but you want to maybe get that slider to run off the plate a little bit. Pretty good job staying on it there to pick up the base hit.
Descalso with the RBI, the 11th hit for the Cardinals in the ball game. Descalso getting just his 6th RBI of the season. And it brings up the leadoff batter, Matt Carpenter. Carpenter is single, 1 for 3. He has scored a run in the ball game. Cardinals doing what the Orioles have not been able to do today. Each team's had 8 chances with a runner in scoring position. The Orioles are 1 for 8. Cardinals are 4 for 8. First and second with 1 away. And that will be in there for a strike. Carpenter, 291 off left-handers, has hit lefties better than righties. He gets the full onslaught of left-handers. He's a regular in the lineup, left or right on the mound. Cruz at second base, Descalso at first. 1-1 delivery and a swing and a miss, 1-2.
Well, this is the kind of life that TJ McFarland can get on his fastball. 91 miles an hour. Boy, and that just darts down and in on the lefty. Dave Wallace, believe it or not, really liking that pitch right there, even though he didn't show it very much.
One-two delivery on the way, and that's there. So McFarland gets a big strikeout as Carpenter is retired for the second out of the inning.
Caleb Joseph setting up inside, that it works back over, but down in the zone. A tough pitch down and away there. McFarland able to get the call.
Pretty good pitch.
Oh, Carpenter not liking it.
Colton Wong now with 2 down. He's had a big day. Wong with the 3 hits, 2 runs scored, 3 singles. He's picked up in the ball game, and the rookie will take the breaking ball outside. For Wong against left-handers, 279. 40 points plus better than against right-handers. Wong has had 4 hits in this series, 4 for 12. First and second with 2 away, and a check swing went around. Couldn't hold up.
And there it is again. A good movement on the 2-seam fastball. And looks good coming in, but then it just darts down and in to the lefty.
Wong leads the Cardinals in 2-out RBIs with 25. 1-1, chopped foul right at the plate. So McFarland gets ahead 1-2. Jay, the leadoff single in the inning. On the infield hit. Came around to score on the Descalso single. And McFarland trying to limit it to just 1 run. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and Wong a slow roller. Scope bare hands and can't get it, and a run will stay at third. That's the speed of Wong, creating a decision moment for Jonathan Scope. It'll be an infield single. Bases loaded.
I think as he walks back to his position, he'll realize that he could have trusted his hands a little bit better. I mean, this is a ball that Jonathan Scope typically will glove. I mean, he has lightning quick hands, and we've seen him this season. I mean, his glove to hand transfer is incredible. But here, a bad decision trying to bare hand that. A little too much pace on that ball. And Jonathan Scope had a play in front of him where probably could have got out of that inning if he just gloved it.
So Wong equals his career high of a 4-hit day, 4 singles, bases loaded. And Matt Holliday up with 2 away. And the pitch is outside for a ball. He is singled, 1 for 3. Holliday's gone 3 for 10 in this series. He's a .280 hitter off left-handers, with 2 of his 12 home runs coming off lefties. .1-0 delivery on the way to him. 1-1.
Pretty healthy cut right there. T.J. McFarland reaching back 93 miles an hour on the fastball.
And McFarland's had to throw a lot of pitches in the inning. 2 infield hits have been recorded. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Out of play. Now McFarland ahead of him. 1 ball, 2 strikes on their number 3 hitter, Matt Holliday. Holliday tied for 10th in slugging in the National League. Started the day with a .309 batting average. And the pitch is going to be taken inside, so Holliday close on that one. .303 batting average in interleague games for Holliday. He's had one of the best numbers in interleague games, as Markakis does for the Orioles. So does he in interleague. Sacks are full, 2-2, and fouled it off.
Holiday, a very dangerous hitter. I mean, he's put up some big numbers in his career. Home run production down a little bit, but you still have to be very careful, make mistakes, and he very strong. He can get one out of the park in a hurry. Jay McFarland has to execute a good pitch here to get him out.
Here's the 2-2 delivery, and again fouled off. So McFarland and Holiday locked in it with the bases loaded. Cruz, fielder's choice third. Descalso the single at second base, and the single by Wong at first. Two delivery again. Down the right field line, and that 2 will end up in the seats. So the count's going to stay 2-2 as Holiday battles in a big at bat here in the top of the 6th inning.
TJ throwing him everything he's got.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat coming up. Holiday coming into the year with that .311 major league number for an average, playing with Colorado, Oakland, and the Cardinals. 2-2 delivery, puts it up in the air, center field. Jones going back near the warning track, and he's got it. 1 run in on 4 hits. They leave the bases loaded. Cardinals up 4-2.
Peralta picking up the base hit. Wong scoring on that single. Cardinals up 2-0, but Nelson Cruz, he gets the Orioles back in the ball game. Drive down the left field line. Markakis to score, but John Jay, boy, it's been a back and forth game early on. He drives in Wong. Wong having a big day. That makes the score 3-1. Well, the Orioles, the top of the lineup, they've been able to get to Lynn. Look at all the hits there. Markakis 3 hits. Machado a couple singles. Adam Jones a single. And Nelson Cruz picking up that double. Nothing for the bottom of the order. And Geico highlights are brought to you by Geico, of course. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So the Orioles again down by 2. Bottom half of the 6th inning. And that one in the air to right center field. Will it stay up? That's going to fall in, and a base hit. So Young finds that Bermuda Triangle, and he's got a single to lead off the 6th inning of the ball game. His first hit in 3 at-bats.
Lynn going to be frustrated again. He's given up a few of these. The two-seamer riding in right off the label. But it nestles out there in the outfield grass over the head of Wong in front of the right fielder Tavares.
That'll bring up Caleb Joseph. He has struck out and flied out. Takes that one into left field, and the Orioles are at it again. These are the kinds of innings that Lynn has faced throughout the ball game. The Orioles got the first 2 on in the first inning. They got 2 of the first 3 on in the third inning. They got the first 2 on in the fifth, and they've got the first 2 on in the sixth. Well, that calls for a conference.
Randy Choate now up in the Cardinals bullpen. They've been waiting for the bottom of this lineup to do a little bit of something. Good start here. Back-to-back singles from Young and Joseph.
Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound here to talk to Lynn as they get the bullpen active. Next pitch will be the 100th to be thrown by Lynn, who he said averages 104. Some strange innings. 8 pitches in the fourth. Retired the side in order in the second and fourth innings. Otherwise, the Orioles have threatened. So here's Ryan Flaherty. He has struck out and grounded out. Scheduled to start at second base, but playing shortstop with the left thumb injury, the sprain. J.J. Hardy taken out the last minute before the start of the game. Does he bunt? Not there. Pitch taken for a ball. So now they're going to give themselves a choice. Choate got up first. Segrist up as well.
Well, we've talked about the Baltimore Orioles and their ability to hit home runs, and really it's top to bottom in this lineup. And Ryan Flaherty hit a home run the opposite.
Got a chance for 2. There's 1. Peralta. No. They do not get the double play. So Young moves over to third base. Fielder's choice Flaherty. Now there may be a challenge.
Yeah, he's going to come out and question that call there.
Obviously a very big call. Mark Carlson is the first base umpire.
Take a look here. Flaherty in the air. Foot down. Well, just after.
He was safe. So there'll be no challenge.
Nice job by Flaherty hustling down the line to stay out of that double play. Keep it going. Well, this is still double play in order, but Jonathan Schoop has some opportunities now. Of course, the middle infield has to tighten up, play double play depth, but there's a big hole on the right side with Flaherty on it first.
Jonathan Schoop wasn't going to play today. He has popped out, grounded out. Generally, the baseball gods smile on those who get in a game they're not supposed to start in. Let's see if it happens here. First and third, 1 away. And his delivery to him will miss, ball 1. Orioles get a chance to at least get within 1 here. They can get Young in from third base. Flaherty will be held by Adams at first base. Schoop 241 with runners in scoring position. He will pop it up. Cruz, nice catch. Tough one because there's no time. You either know where the ball is or you don't on those pop-ups that don't go very high, and he found it.
Well, that was a nice play right there. And came out of the box quickly, able to pick up the baseball.
2 down. Runners remain at first and third. Markakis coming up. Nick with his 6th 3-hit game of the season, his 44th multi-hit game, and that's going to be it for Lynn. Markakis has gone 3 for 3 off the Cardinals starter, and Mike Matheny decides I'm going to give somebody else a shot at it. So the left-hander will be coming in from the bullpen to face Markakis. Lynn will leave with a chance to win his 12th. And again, he leaves the ball game, at least for the moment, having surrendered only 2 runs, but responsible for the base runners.
inning. Hasn't done that in a while. And this is what he used today against the Baltimore Orioles. 82% fastballs, 15% breaking ball, and that rare changeup at 3% of the time. 5 2/3, 9 hits, couple earned runs. Of course, he is responsible for the runners at first and third. And Randy Choate now in the ball game to face Markakis. Markakis, of course, had the 3 hits off Lynn. Choate, fastball slider pitcher, using that fastball 67% of the time. And the veteran lefty, 43 games, 506 earned run average. And the lefty's down to .094 off him. That's why he's here to face Markakis in this situation.
Nick has had 9 at-bats against him, is 1 for 9. Runners on at first and third. Markakis, 3 singles, 2 runs scored. Bottom of the 6th, and the Orioles down by 2. Young, Flaherty, the base runners. Choate's delivery. Markakis will take the off-speed breaking ball. It is in there for a strike.
And Choate tough on the lefties. See Nick Markakis, 427th multi-hit game. That's 4th all-time in Orioles history. And he's starting to climb the ladder in a lot of offensive categories for the Orioles.
Choate pitched an inning in game 1, had 2 strikeouts, gave up nothing. Markakis down to first, foul ball. Adams just in case in foul territory. Orioles, their 9th game ever against the Cardinals. 3 wins, 5 losses. Winning the first 2 in this one, trying to sweep the Cardinals. The Cardinals did that to them here in Baltimore the last time these teams played. These two may see each other again down the road. Both clubs vying for the postseason. 0-2 count. See if Choate throws a strike or tries to get him to chase. Nope. 1-2.
And a sweeping slider. And you see why he's had the success off the lefties, that sidearm delivery. And of course, he's been around for a while, so he knows how to get the outs and mix up his pitches properly. But you know, he can get that good movement down in the zone, get some ground balls when he needs to, and occasionally pick up that strikeout with that slider.
1-2 delivery, and Markakis comes through with a base hit. That'll score the Orioles' 3rd run, and over to third base goes Flaherty. Nick Markakis, a 4-hit ball game, and it is 4-3.
That was a great piece of hitting there by Nick Markakis. Falls behind, stays on the slider. Clutch hitting. And you see it sweep across the plate. Look at that coverage as he stays on. I talk about making adjustments and doing what you can. Stays through the baseball. Clean base hit up the middle. Nice base running by Ryan Flaherty. Coming on over to third base, and Delman Young able to score.
And that will result in the pitching change. The matchup does not work, and the Orioles are within 1.
Out of the Cardinals bullpen, using that fastball at 90% of the time. Breaking ball 7%, changeup at 3%. And loves the fastball, and it's pretty good one, 92 to 96 miles an hour. 4.44 earned run average, 31 strikeouts in his 26 and a third innings of work. So he's got some life on the fastball. Opponents hitting 248, lefties at 278, righties 231.
So the Orioles get a big hit from Nick Markakis, the 4-hit ball game, and the RBI to pull the Orioles within 1. And Flaherty, of course, with 2 down, often charging, able to go all the way over to third. So Flaherty, the potential tying run at third base, and Manny Machado, a 2-for-3 day, 2 singles, and he has struck out. So for the first time in 7 starts, the starter, Lance Lynn, has given up more than 2 runs. He was charged with that last one. He's also responsible for Flaherty. Manny Machado, 2 down. Vigorous delivery to him. First ball popped up infield. Who wants it? Who sees it? Second base. And hauled in by Wong. So he comes on and gets the final out. The Orioles will pick up a run, and it is now a 4-3 Cardinal lead. Set. Kevin Gausman on a pitch for the Orioles would struggle early on, still would get 6 strikeouts, give himself and the Orioles a chance in this game. Cruz has picked up an RBI double in the ball game, and the Orioles have been able to come back to make it a 1-run affair. A couple of big defensive double plays. Now up to the bullpen to see where this one's going to end up, as the Cardinals have the 4-3 lead, and we go to the 7th inning. Lynn charged with the 3 runs for the Cardinals. Kevin Gausman also charged with 3 runs on 8 hits in 5 innings.
Well, both teams have had some opportunities to really break this game open.
Foul back.
Able to come through with that big hit.
Look at the numbers, Mike. They've gone. The Orioles are 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They've left 8. The Cardinals are 5 for 11, and they've left 8. There've been a lot of base runners out there getting suntans. 0-2 delivery to Adams up the middle, right where they were playing him. That's Flaherty, the shortstop. Adams retired. Spend your lunch hour tomorrow at the official Orioles team store in the York Galleria. Infielder Jonathan Scope will be on hand 11 to noon, meeting fans, signing autographs. Your chance to say hi to Jonathan and discover the latest Orioles team gear. That's 11 to noon at the team store in the York Galleria. Yankees coming in tomorrow night. Big 3-game set against the Orioles. All night games Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Peralta with the cut. Bud Norris, Chris Capuano will be the scheduled starters to kick off the 3-game set against the Yankees. We'll have a final on the Yankee game momentarily, I think. Peralta, base hit, RBI, a walk, and he has popped out. Yankees lose. Yankees lose. Cleveland beat the Yankees 4-1 today. Kipnis, a big day for Cleveland, 3 for 5. Gomes 2 for 3. Kuroda gave up 3 runs, 5 hits, and just 4 2/3 innings. There goes the bat. Carrasco, the starter for Cleveland, only a couple of hits, no runs in 5. So Cleveland wins it by a score of 4-1. The Orioles ahead of the Yankees and Toronto by 6 games starting the day. One ball, 2 strike count with 1 out. Peralta slices that one back foul. Peralta against the left-handers, 241. Pop in the bat, 3 of his 15 home runs against lefties. After all the blasts in this series, 9 home runs, 8 different players for the Orioles in the first 2 games. None for either team in this one. 2 ball, 2 strike count on Peralta. McFarland's pitch is going to be looped for a base hit into right field. So Peralta gets his second hit of the ball game with 1 away, 7th inning. As promised earlier in the game, our AT&T's fan photo. Great expression.
Yeah. Cal making the backhand play.
That's even better. Got her head right inside the glove for the picture. Here is John Jay. Jay's had a good ball game. 2 singles, a walk, diving, Flaherty, 1 drop, but the out's recorded. Fine play by Ryan Flaherty at short.
Doesn't matter where you put him, he's going to be able to play the good defense. And here, showing his range, he's right between the legs of T.J. McFarland out of nowhere. Ryan Flaherty, and then Scope just trying to be a little too quick on that transfer. Mike Matheny's going to come out and review this again.
I remember under the rule at the beginning of the season, the runner would have been safe if the ball had been dropped in the transfer. Runners were ruled safe, but that got changed.
Well, you know what's interesting? When they talk about the transfer rule and what they changed, is a middle infielder now has to actually show possession, a squeezing of the glove. And there are a lot of second basemen that still turn the double play where the glove stays open and then just pop it into their hand. Now take a look at Jonathan Scope here. His glove never really fully closes. He's just trying to redirect the ball into his hand. So this is going to be interesting to see how they view this double play turn attempt.
Forced play. Forced plays are reviewable.
See, the ball obviously never got into his throwing hand. I think a lot of times you'll see a shortstop that comes across, they actually catch the baseball. And here you see Scope just pushing the baseball down to his throwing hand, and it never gets in there cleanly. So going to be an interesting judgment.
Again, you've got to have the uncontroverted evidence that the call was wrong if you're going to overturn it. Did he clearly not have possession?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of a gray area with that type of play. And
there are still judgment calls to be made on video replay. Not necessarily clean cut, and this one's taking a while. It's a big play. Here in the 7th inning, the Cardinals could have runners on at first and second and 1 out, or could have a runner on at first base and 2 down.
We've seen Jonathan Schoop be clean with this technique all year long. I mean, these guys have been so good at turning a double play. But the glove never really squeezes around the baseball. And a lot of times a second baseman isn't even taught to do that. Unless he comes across the base and the throw's high, then certainly you have to truly catch the ball. But, you know, with the runner bearing down on you, second baseman just taught to redirect basically. So there's never really a true clean catch in the glove. You see there, it's still open and never closed on the ball.
Safe. They're going to overturn it. So Matheny's challenge works, and now Buck Showalter's going to come out, and this is purely argument, saying he never had control at second base. And Buck Showalter's, you look at this, he wants to talk to New York. He's out of the game. You can't argue these things. Showalter's saying, come on out here, I want to talk to New York, and the umpire's going, no. I think that's the first time he's been thrown out, isn't it?
Well, he's been frustrated with some of these reviews and potentially what they're looking at. And he's upset here just about this transfer call. You know, the rule was changed.
And obviously, for him, he's arguing. He doesn't get to argue with the people who made the call. The people who made the call are in New York.
Yeah, he wants to go talk to them.
That's where he got thrown out. Buck Showalter out of there as he came out. Can't argue these reviews. That's all but automatic. Bye-bye. And John Russell will take over. Did he have possession?
And they're just, that's the thing. Is there ever a clear, you know, controlling of the baseball?
Nope.
It's just up to their judgment on that call.
Well, it's big play. So now you got runners on at first and second, only one away, and it's Tavares in a 4-3 game in the 7th inning. A big play right there. And a ground ball that's going to go foul. So they still call that a fielder's choice or a base hit? E4. Okay. So an error called on Jonathan Schoop. First and second, 1 out. Tavares a base hit, strikeout, hit into a fly ball double play. Play that still looms as big in this game that came in the first inning. And Adam Jones threw out Matt Adams at the plate on the Tavares fly ball. First and second, 1 away. Tavares has taken some big cuts in this series, working against the left-hander TJ McFarland. Here's the 0-2 delivery. That'll be foul back.
I think Mike Matheny might have been sending the message to him about swing too hard, knock one out of the ball yard. And a lot of his cuts, he does not get cheated. He's been exposed a few times.
Interesting that the Cardinals have 13 hits and they're all singles. 13 singles in this ball game. Approaching a record for the Orioles of most singles given up in a 9-inning game, and only singles. Back in 2008 against Seattle, the Orioles gave up 15 hits without an extra base hit being recorded by Seattle in a 10-5 loss.
Wow. Huh. Some meaningful singles.
Wow. Bunch those together. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's down the line and foul. He got around on it and needs some new lumber.
Another broken bat. Seen a lot of them today. T.J. McFarland running that two-seamer in there on the hands. T.J. up to 48 pitches right now. Liking the fastball, 76%. He'd like to get another one down in the zone. Give this infield another shot at turning the double play. The pitch track consistently getting in there with the fastball.
1-2, runners off first and second. Foul back again. In effect, with the rule changed on that play at second base from what we had at the start of the year, you're back to what always has been the rule, that when you take that at second base, you got to be in possession of the ball. The thing is, prior to replay, it was kind of an Olay play. If you look like you had it, you usually got the call, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Now with the replay, though, you really got to have it.
Exactly.
You got to possess it to get the out. Ground ball to first base. Let's try it again. There's one. Relay back to first, not in time. McFarland getting over there to cover. Davis on the throw down to second to get the force out at second base. Outs coming hard here in this seventh inning.
They sure are. Tavares hustling down the line. Chris Davis, a nice job getting it to Ryan Flaherty. The strong arm, accurate throw. Flaherty, strong throw back, but good speed.
McFarland got there.
And just beating it out.
Now we will get a pinch runner at first base. Peter Borges will come on to run, the outfielder for Tavares. So Borges on to run, first and third. There are two down. Bullpens. Van Neshek in the bullpen. Bullpen's going to decide this one. Starters out, each giving up 3 runs. Lynn on the Cardinals side, still a chance to be the winner. Gausman on the Orioles side, pitcher of record on the other side. Here's Tony Cruz, first and third. Cruz struck out twice, hit into a fielder's choice. First and third, 2 away. McFarland gets it in, a chopper to second base. Scopes got it. He'll go to first and record the out. So despite the play at second base where the challenge worked for the Cardinals, they don't take advantage of it. 2 are left on, still a 1-run ball game. Stretch time. Stretch time. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick with you. Great infielder that you were. You made that play many times at second base. If you were the commissioner, what would you like to see the rule be?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I mean, you want these guys to be the best athletes in the world, and that what you're seeing, and Jonathan Scope is one of them, he has lightning quick hands, and a lot of times these middle infielders, they just redirect the baseball, so the ball will hit the glove flat. They will never really close the glove, and it'll just bounce off their palm into their hand. I mean, Omar Vizquel used to do that all the time. So many great second basemen, and it's just a redirection. It's never a true, really catching of the baseball like they want, to be done right now. So, I mean, I love to see the athletes. You want to see special, entertaining double play turns. So I just think if the feed is there, if the guy doesn't clank it off his wrist or something.
Because the other part of that is, let's say that happens, he makes that transfer without ever closing it, gets it to first base, they turn the double play. I have never seen the play at second base overturned if the double play is turned.
Right.
It's only when the ball is dropped.
Sure.
But they can make the double play without ever having possession by doing what you're saying.
No, exactly. So, I mean, you love to see that. You love to see the lightning quick hands. It's tough. I think they're working on that, but I think there's always going to be a little gray area in that play. They made the adjustment. There were a lot of bad calls earlier in the year, that transfer rule where, guys would come across, actually catch the baseball, but then when they went to transfer into their hands. So they were making some bad calls. They cleared it up, and that last play was really tough for the Orioles and Jonathan Scope because it was just more of a redirection.
Back to the bullpen, the Cardinals. Seagrist out of there. He got the out he needed in the sixth.
And Pat Neshek, he's done an outstanding job for the Cardinals. 53% fastballs, 36% breaking balls, the changeup 11% of the time. And you want to talk about a pitcher that's tough to pick up. He has a very interesting, unique delivery coming from the side. .76 earned run average, 49 strikeouts. Opponent's hitting just 136. The lefty's 150. The righty's at 127. And there is a lot of things going on. Tough for a hitter to pick up.
Neshek will start it out with a strike. Adam Jones leading it off. Peter Borges pinch ran, stays in the ballgame in center, and John Jay moves from center to right, with Tavares coming out of the ballgame after he was pinch run for. A real good ballgame here in Game 3 of this series. Neshek with a pitch that goes away and an 0-2 count. Adam Jones, a base hit, 1 for 3 in the ballgame, is hit into a fielder's choice and has flied out in the game. 4-13-0 for the Cardinals, 3-10-1 for the Orioles. Pat Neshek delivers. Pitch comes right out of his knee. That's if he's up. If he drops a little more, it comes out of the ground.
I mean, this is a very unorthodox delivery. Take a look at the pitch track. Everything working away from Adam Jones right there.
And Jones is retired on the strikeout.
And riding to the top. I mean, what's impressive is the velocity. This type of delivery, 93, riding to the top of the zone. Here's a good look at his delivery. He rocks back a little bit, picks that front foot up, resets it on the rubber, and then almost kind of leans forward, coming from the side, and then the finish. He has a little hop at the end. And a lot of things going on there, but he's having success with it this season.
Delivery on the way, and it'll be taken up high by Nelson Cruz. Orioles batting in the bottom of the 7th and down by 1. Outfield deep on Cruz, has got an RBI double, a walk, and he is flied out. Orioles get their left-hander, Andrew Miller, up in the pen. Cruz has a 1 for 3 off Neshek. Orioles getting the first look at him in this series. 2-0 count. And a swing and a miss. That's where he's so effective against right-handers, keeping that ball down and away.
Well, that's been the go-to spot on Nelson Cruz, down and away with the slider. So first 2 pitches riding up and away, and then right back down to that spot.
Here's the 2-1 delivery inside corner. Neshek was signed as a minor league free agent by the Cardinals. He pitched with Oakland last year in 45 games. Had a 2-1 record, 3.25 ERA. Worked only 40 innings. Been around since 2002 Pro Ball, and he got him. That one he just came back in with 2 strikeouts.
Working all over the place there. Finishes him up with the fastball. Take a look at the pitch track. Right on the outer third at 92 miles an hour. See that sidearm delivery? It works itself back over the edge.
Neshek has never had a major league start. He has never had a major league save. You talk about a guy who's a middle reliever. There he is. Chris Davis. And Davis will take it for a strike. He has struck out twice and flied out to right. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Davis 0 for 1 off Neshek. Full shift employed. 0-1 delivery, and he'll take it away. Davis waiting, the 1-1 pitch. That pitch tied him up. 71 miles an hour, and it's a called strike 1 and 2.
Yeah, so all that body movement, violent action, and then it just comes out 71 miles an hour. A pretty good changeup. He's off the plate though on the pitch track.
1-2. Chris reaching. That's a one-handed swing. Long. Just gets him at first base. So Neshek comes on, retires the side in order. 8th inning coming up from Camden Yards. It's a Cardinal lead by 1. PNC Bank for the achiever in you, and by AT&T, mobilizing your world. With Mike Bordy, Gary Thorne, great to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon. Good ball game, another good house on hand, and the Orioles trying to sweep, right now trailing by 1.
Andrew Miller, who has been lights out for the Orioles since coming over from the Red Sox, used that fastball 60% of the time, big sweeping breaking ball at 40% of the time, and he is a power arm. He can rush that fastball up in the mid-90s, having a very strong year. 2.15 earned run average, 75 strikeouts in 46 innings of work, just the 16 walks. And look at these numbers. Opponents hitting 156 overall. Lefties way down to 132. All right, he's not much better at 174.
Well, the Blue Jays have made a major comeback today. They were down 5-0 against the Tigers. Jose Reyes has delivered an RBI single in the 9th inning and tied the game up. They're now in extra innings. 4-3 here as we go to the 8th. It'll be Daniel Descalso. RBI single in the 6th inning. Right now the go-ahead. 1 for 3 in the ball game. And he's had 4 hits and 8 at-bats in this series, batting out of the bottom part of the order in that number 9 spot last 2 games. And the pitch away for a ball from Miller, 2-0.
Falling behind here in Andrew Miller's game plan, we've talked to him about it. He is just in attack mode. I mean, he is aggressive in the zone, really. That's why he's found his niche. I mean, such a strong arm and a cross-body delivery. He stays aggressive. There isn't a lot both lefties or righties can do off it.
A 2-ball 1-strike count on Descalso. Machado in at third, down to third, and a fair ball. That's going to roll into foul territory. Descalso on his way to second base. It'll be played into the cutoff man, and a leadoff double here in the 8th inning. And Descalso's really done some damage against the Orioles, and there is the first extra base hit for the Cardinals out of 14. In our Major League Notebook, taking a look at this date in history, 1963, Boo Powell, the first Oriole to hit 3 home runs in the same game. Did it in a 6-5 win over Washington in D.C. And in 71, the great Harmon Killebrew became the 10th player to join the 500 home run club. He got it off Mike Cuellar in the first inning of that ball game. And Boog's Barbecue with Boog often in attendance.
Oh yeah, that is so good. I had some yesterday.
That ball is tagged by Carpenter deep into right field. Warning track. That'll take a bounce, and it's a double. Just missed the home run as Carpenter puts a double up. That will score Descalso, and it is a 5-3 Cardinal lead.
A couple hitters here, Carpenter and Descalso, getting good looks off McFarland. This pitch just elevated up and in, and he gets the bat head to it. Deepest part of the park here. 1 hop up and out over the wall.
Carpenter with the 2-bagger picks up his 43rd RBI with his 27th double. So back-to-back doubles here in the 8th. The irony of baseball games, 13 consecutive singles in the ball game, and then 2 doubles in a row. And Miller will get the pitch in to Wong, who's had a 4-hit ball game. 4 singles, 2 runs scored, and Jose Akendo's calling him down was a sign miss there. So I just want to talk to you so they think you might be bunting, but go ahead and hit away.
He's been swinging the bat pretty well. 4 hits in this game. Are you kidding me?
23-year-old from Hawaii. First-round pick, 22nd overall in 2011. And he indeed was supposed to bunt. Taken for a strike. 0-2. So a missed sign and a non-successful second attempt. Wong, the Cardinals minor league player of the year last season. Got some games in with the Cardinals postseason. Swing and a miss. Great delivery by Miller.
Well, certainly didn't give Wong a chance after that second bunt attempt there, but this slider sweeping across. See the grip getting on the side of the baseball and works itself just off that outside corner and finally retire Wong.
Miller now with a runner at second base and Holiday coming up. One down. Holiday a base hit, 1 for 4. Takes the pitch inside. He's had 3 hits and 11 at bats in the series. Cardinals have left 10. The Orioles have left 8. Cardinals are now 6 for 14 with runners in scoring position today. One 0 delivery on the way, and that 2 is going to be inside. Cardinals have had one more chance with a runner in scoring position in this game than they did combined in the first two. 2-0 count. Adams on deck. Runner goes. Throw. Got him. Joseph throwing out 49% of base stealers. And why would you do that there if you're the Cardinals?
I have no idea. And Caleb Joseph coming out of the chute here. Beautiful throw to Manny Machado. Manny slapping that tag down.
Matheny's coming out. Talk to the third base umpire, Laz Diaz.
Oh, he had him.
Looking to his replay official, who says, nope, don't challenge.
Another good throw by Caleb Joseph.
Boy, that's really giving the other team an out right there. So Holiday is caught stealing. He's only had 2 stolen bases. I mean, obviously he felt he had some kind of a big jump at second.
Right.
You better not be out. 2-1 delivery on the way. That'll be taken inside. So Holiday now 3-1.
They really wanted to give him third base with Holiday coming up to hit. And they tried the bunt attempt, won a bunt attempt with Wong, and then that stolen base attempt.
And a strike, and he'd already thrown the bat away. Let me correct on Carpenter. He had 4 stolen bases.
Take a look at the fastball. Oh, that's a good fastball, 97 miles an hour. Picking up that outside corner.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Matt Holiday. Bases empty. Chopper to short. Flaherty over. There's the putout. Cardinals, though, had a big run. They get back-to-back doubles by Descalso and Carpenter. Now have a 5-3 lead. As the Yankees come to town for 3, Bud Norris will take the mound against Chris Capuano. Our coverage on MASN 630 O's Extra presented by Geico, followed by game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN. Beautiful summer day here in Baltimore and a real fine finish to this series. Cardinals right now up by 2. Norris will be facing the Yankees for only the second time in his career. Gave up only 1 run, 5 innings in New York on the 21st. Delvin Young will lead it off. John Russell managing the ball club. Buck Showalter thrown out of the game. Came out to argue a replay decision. And the pitch by Neshek. Young has a single, 1 for 3 in the game.
Neshek proving to be tough. on both lefties and righties this season. Yeah, nice little slider.
Did he go? Nope. Young has an 0 for 2 against Neshek. One of the questions after the ball game is going to be about J.J. Hardy, the Orioles shortstop, scheduled to play, removed at the last minute with a left thumb sprain. You've seen J.J. on the bench and had that wrapped up. Zach Britton in the bullpen for the Orioles. One-two delivery, and it's there for a strike. Neshek has struck out 3 of the 4 batters he's faced.
Well, 3 sliders in a row, and then he just pops a fastball 92 down and away to Delman Young. Boy, just locking him up, kind of lulls him asleep with the sliders, and then here it comes. Pretty impressed with the velocity.
Trevor Rosenthal for the Cardinals. And the pitch will be taken. Caleb Joseph has had a base hit, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Is this the day that the home run streak ends at 5? 0-1 delivery. Neshek in there for a strike. His delivery is so awkward as a hitter, you probably just stand there and watch it. Forget about swinging. It's like, what's he doing?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough enough just facing a traditional submarine sidearm type pitcher, but when there's a little bit extra going on, my goodness.
And the count goes to 1-2. Flaherty waiting on deck for the Orioles, who bat here in the 8th inning. 8 runs, 25 hits combined this afternoon. 1-2, and he struck him out. 4 Ks, 5 hitters for Neshek.
Locating the slider really well here on Caleb Joseph. Just working that outside corner, and you see it just moves off the outer edge. Getting on the side. There's the rotation there. Caleb a little bit out in front.
Ryan Flaherty up. Struck out, grounded out, hit into a fielder's choice. It's in there for a strike. It's kind of the heave-ho delivery.
Yeah.
Boy, effective. Went for the outside corner. Didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike count. One and one on Ryan Flaherty. And the Orioles make the late inning comeback in this ball game. Here's the 1-1, and that's their first strike. Count goes to 1-2.
And one thing about the Orioles is they're never really out of a ball game. We'll talk about their home run production, and they have been on a serious home run rampage.
Down to third, short hop. Descalso with a nice play to record the out. So 3 up and 3 down, 6 in a row retired by Neshek out of the bullpen. We go to the 9th inning, 5-3 Cardinals. Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. We go to the 9th on this Sunday afternoon with the Cardinals leading the Orioles 5-3.
Well, Zach Britton now in the ball game. Obviously not a save situation, but just want to slam the door on the Cardinals here and give this Orioles offense another chance. Loves the fastball 92% of the time. Why not? It is a power sinker, 95, 96 miles an hour. Occasionally he'll flip that breaking ball in there for an early strike. Maybe a strikeout pitch 8% of the time. 1.56 earned run average, 49 punch outs, and 15 walks on the season, 24 saves and 27 opportunities. Opponents hitting just 179 overall.
He will face Matt Adams here in the top of the 9th inning. Zach Britton so enjoyed the throwback uniforms on Friday, he did not give up the socks. He's still wearing them. They look great. Black and orange going there. 1-0 count on Adams. And the pitch there for a strike. Adams has had a base hit. Strikeout, grounded out, fielder's choice. Cardinals got 2 runs in the first inning. The Orioles got 1, both pitchers starters. Kevin Gausman and Lance Lynn both struggled in the first inning in particular. 1-1 breaking ball. They are still the pitchers of record in this game. Cardinals have not trailed 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. The Cardinals got 1 in the 6th, and so did the Orioles. And then the Cardinals 1 in the 8th. And a swing and a miss. Foul tip, says Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire. 2-2.
97. Dangerous when it's up in the zone, but there was still enough movement there. An incredible velocity.
Detroit, Toronto, 5-5, 11th. 2-2 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss.
Well, there is not a lot you can do with that pitch. 96 miles an hour, if there's any leak at all, and you saw that front hip go, no chance to cover the outside corner. An incredible velocity, and location was perfect.
That'll bring up Johnny Peralta. 2 singles, an RBI, a walk, and a pop out today. Peralta with the 2 hits he's added today, 4 for 9, 2 RBIs in the series. Peralta with a lot of at bats against the Orioles, 282 career average with 8 lifetime home runs against the Orioles. 0-1 count, shift on in the infield. Jay waiting on deck. 0-1 ground ball to the hole. That's a base hit. So Peralta 3-hit ball game. This one comes with 1 down in the 9th. On Sunday, August 31st, celebrate the holiday weekend here at Camden Yards with the family. Those kids 14 and under are going to get the Manny Machado orange replica Orioles jersey. And all kids are going to get to wear them after the ball game. They can run the bases after that 1:35 game. That's coming up August 31. Tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Jay's had a 2-hit game. A walk and has reached on an error. He's had an RBI and a run scored. 1 down and 1 on. We take you back to 1999. On this date, the Orioles, the double race, 17-1 Orioles win. All 9 Baltimore starters had a run and reached base at least twice. Who was their leader? Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Bordick. 4 hits, 2 doubles, and 5 RBIs.
No way.
1999. Way, brother, way.
Oh, my God.
And the pitch is outside. Now, you don't tell me you don't remember that. 1999, 17-1 against the double race.
Wow. I don't really remember that, Gary. I should.
Well, you had so many,
I didn't.
You had so many 5 RBI days. How could you remember it?
Oh, goodness.
Britton with a 2-0 delivery on the way, and the pitch will be taken. And the count goes to 3-0 on Jay.
You know what's funny?
What?
Is when all the Orioles were here the other day for the 60th anniversary. A lot of them really didn't remember things that happened in the season. They remembered what happened in the postseason. And that's when the best memories are the ones that lock in.
Walked him. So here in the ninth inning, 2 on, 1 out. Take a look at our Antwerpen quote of the day. WJZ's Mark Viviano, O's 60th anniversary weekend has featured an animated managerial ejection and a bunch of 3-run homers. Earl Weaver would approve. Straight on, Mark. Visit Antwerpen and their new Route 32 Clarksville facility all month. They'll beat any competing offer in your trade-in. Hurry in today. I've always marveled at those players, managers, even fans who can recall correctly moments, multiple moments in baseball history.
Yeah.
Right off the top.
I agree.
I can't do that. I fully admit it. But there are some. Bob Murphy, who I used to work with when I broke in with Bob on radio with the Mets. I mean, he remembered everything. I swear to God, he remembered pitches from 15 years before. Who threw it, where it was, what the count was. It was ridiculous. I don't even know what the score of last night's game was. That's why I keep my scorebook at hand. 1-0 count. Peter Borges with 1 out. 2 on. Cardinals already up by 2 here in the ninth inning, trying to add more to it. Borges getting his first at bat, came on as a pinch runner, and he'll take it up high.
Zach, a little problem with the command right now. Left to pitch up to Peralta when he picked up the base hit, and then of course a walk. So much better when he's down in the zone here in this situation. Well, loved the opportunity to try to double up Borges on a great speed, but Zach Britton has the ability to get the ground ball.
Look at those chances. 6 for 15, 2 for 13. Peter Borges, a 2-0 count. Zach Britton's delivery to him, and the count goes to 3-0. I have to pass along. We mentioned Earl Weaver's story, and Mark Viviano there. Story about Earl Weaver in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. They've done a lot in the Post-Dispatch talking about the Orioles and the Cardinals and their related history. 3-0 delivery, and that's a strike. They have a story, if you go to the Post-Dispatch online, about Earl Weaver and a picture of him. At one time, he worked repairing parking meters in St. Louis. And they've got a shot of him with a screwdriver in hand working on a parking meter. That's how old is he? He was 21 years old in the picture.
Nice.
Great shot. 3-1 delivery on the way. That goes to right field, and Marquez just looking up, and goodbye, home run. Peter Borges with a 3 RBI homer here in the ninth inning, his 4th home run of the season, and the Cardinals make it an 8-3 game.
Well, you don't see that very often. An elevated pitch. He gets himself a good hitter's count. He's up and out over. Not a lot of sink on that fastball. And Borges gets the bat head to it. Opposite way.
So obviously a big home run, and away go the fans. Here is Cruz, and 0 for 4 in the ball game today. So Borges, and it should be his only at bat of the ball game, ends up delivering a home run. Brian Mattis is now up in the bullpen. They don't want to extend Britton here to throw any more pitches than necessary, and there's only 1 out here in the ninth inning. 17 hits for the Cardinals in this game.
Well, Mike Matheny's been waiting for this offense to break out. I mean, they've had trouble scoring runs all year long. And here putting on a little bit of a show. 17 hits in the game.
So Zach Britton has his stretch of 35 and 2/3 scoreless innings at home ended. He had gone 27 straight home appearances without surrendering a run, and that tied Brian Mattis. He will stay tied with him. 1-0 count on Cruz, and the pitch is there for a strike. One down. Descalso on deck. 1-1 strike count on Cruz. One delivery on the way. Pitch down and away. Zach Britton surrendering the just the 4th home run that he has given up this season in 58 innings pitched. So the Orioles bullpen, McFarland a run, Miller a run, and now 3 off Britton. This is one of the longest days the bullpen's had in a long time. And a swing and a miss. Cruz retired, 2 down.
And there's a good fastball right there. 97 miles an hour just darting away. When he gets to the plate, and off it goes. Beautiful pitch. That's the type of pitch we're used to seeing from Zach Britton. We haven't seen a lot of fly balls, let alone the home runs.
2 away. And Descalso, big day in the 9 spot. Double, single, RBI, and a run scored. Daniel Descalso will take it. 27,779 today, 27779 on this Sunday afternoon here at the ballpark. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Ground ball to first. Davis snow cones and makes the play. But a big 3-run 9th inning as Peter Borges gets it, and it is now an 8-3 Cardinal lead. On earlier in this ball game and later as the Cardinals have the 8-3 lead. Not a save situation, but Rosenthal on.
Well, you saw the shadows creeping onto the field. Might be a little bit tougher. Rosenthal, their closer, power fastball, 95 to 100 miles an hour. That's why he uses it 80% of the time. And breaking ball just 5% of the time, and the changeup 15% of the time. He's had some inconsistencies, some command problems. The 28 walks on the season, but 35 saves out of his 39 opportunities. Opponents hitting 230. The lefties down to 169 and the righties at 280.
So Rosenthal will work here in the bottom of the 9th inning as the Orioles need some base runners with that big 3-run homer in the top half of the inning. Jonathan Scope has had an 0 for 3 in the ball game. Then Markakis and Manny Machado at the top of the order. Rosenthal's delivery will be up high for a ball. Scope takes the pitch. It's a strike. Orioles obviously are going to try and make him throw strikes here. They'll take anything they can get to get on base. Rosenthal tied for the major league lead in saves, starting the day with 35 with Rodriguez of the Brew Crew. He has, however, had a record of 1-6, which generally you don't find closers having. 1-2 delivery, and there's the heater. And as we promised earlier in the game, Miller Time brought to you by Miller Lite.
Well, Nick Markakis, 3 hits on the afternoon. They pull Lance Lynn. Randy Choate in. Here comes the 4th. Clutch hitting, runners at 1st and 3rd, picking up the RBI. And Nick Markakis staying hot. Great season, but interleague play, he has been a monster.
Tying his season high with the 4 hits in the ball game. Rosenthal with a 1-0 count. 8 runs, 17 hits for the Cardinals, 3 runs, and 10 hits for the Orioles. It was the Cardinals' day for the offense to explode. Mike and I were talking before the game that most teams' magic number is 4. The Cardinals' magic number is 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. The Orioles, when they score 4 runs or more, 50 wins, 13 losses. The Cardinals, when they score 4 runs or more, 15 wins, 3 losses. I mean, it's unbelievable how much difference the offenses produce.
So this is only the 19th game where they have scored 4 or more runs. But when they get those 3 runs, they're pretty successful. They're a ball club that knows how to put ball games away. They rely so much on their pitching, so they actually are run less in that magic number of runs scored to win. Markakis with a 3-ball 2-strike count on the foul ball. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Three-ball 2-strike count. Rosenthal's delivery down to first and a foul ball. When the Cardinals score 3 or more runs, they are 46-15, which is just an unbelievable mark. Because if you put that for most American League teams, that would not be enough. American League, you got to get 4 runs to win. 3-ball 2-strike delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss. Rosenthal, a couple of strikeouts, 2 down, 9th inning.
He doesn't get to it very often, but the changeup pretty nasty, down and away, 86 miles an hour. There's some late fade there. Markakis out in front a little bit.
Orioles with the Yankees coming in tomorrow, losing to Cleveland today 4-1. Detroit, Toronto still playing 5-5 ball game. Both teams were in second, 6 behind the Orioles. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Manny Machado, a single in the first, a single in the 5th, 2 for 4 in the ball game. 0-1 delivery to him. That'll be down low. John Russell, the bench coach, handling the ball club with Buck Showalter having gotten the heave-ho earlier in the ball game when he came out to argue on a replay call. 1-1 delivery in the air, right center field into that gap. Jay is there, and this ball game's over. 1-2-3 inning for Rosenthal. Starters are the pitches of record. Lynn goes 12-8. Kevin Gausman takes the loss, 6-4. There's no save. And the Cardinals avoid a sweep, but the Orioles take 2 out of 3 against St. Louis. Tomorrow it's the Yankees, the first of 3. Bud Norris on the mound, Chris Capuano his opponent. Our coverage on MASN, 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Geico, followed by game coverage at 7. This has been a MASN presentation. Tom and Rick standing by. O's Extra, presented by PNC, is coming up next. From Mike Morton and all of our crew here at Camden Yards, I'm Gary Thorne. Adieu.